And we're back for another Dark Hollywood mind map session. Welcome Dev G, Just Candy, welcome guys, welcome early birdies. I think we're on and good here. Things are getting a little janky the more into this territory we're going into, the closer to the Voldemorts and into this dark territory. The darker, the jankier. But hope everyone's having a good night. Hey Omadi, hey guys. Welcome. Happy weekend, happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Whatever actual daytime it is for you on your neck of the woods. So let's get this going. And I hope you guys are prepared for this, because this is like, I think a lot of people are expecting this to be like a yellow brick road type mind map. I keep getting people asking for certain names and stuff that it's a yellow brick road, and it all is part of it too. But we're going down the red brick road, and the kind of dots and the kind of things going on that we're trying to map out here is a little bit deeper and a little bit thicker than some people are asking, like, to get the Lou Taylor and some of this other stuff on the board. And yeah, that's all part of it too. But there's a lot more serious stuff going on here than the money being funneled. You know, it's more than just a money situation. So with that said, I guess we'll start with the most recent red dot, and it's really sad. And we were just saying today or the other day or last stream or whatever, no more red dots, and it's so sad when this kind of shit happens. And already the situation with it is a little bit suspicious. I don't know if you guys have heard just yet, but Kiana Underwood was a former Nickelodeon. She was 33 years old. She was struck by a vehicle and dragged for 2 blocks, and obviously did not make it. But the weird thing is, with that whole situation, somehow we're not getting a proper description of the vehicle. Some of the reports are saying a gray sedan. Some are saying a black SUV. And I'm kind of, you know, it doesn't seem very realistic to me that in a mass surveillance society that somebody that could happen, and even with just witnesses and people around, that could happen, and there not be a proper description of the vehicle or the person. So it's a little bit troubling, and I mean, this was already going to be a dark stream for the stuff I started digging into last night, and where we were going to have to go anyway. It was going to have to get there at some point. It was just figuring out how to fit it all in. More of the blue dots, but with red outlines, so like the deeper dark of it all. But obviously this situation has come up, so I have added it in, and for what it connects to between all that, the first show that Amanda Bynes was on, and there was the other, sorry, I'm just making sure this is still going here. We're still good, we're still on, everybody can hear? We're all good. Hey Mickey, hey Lady Deve, greetings from snowy Maine. Welcome. From snowy Canada to snowy Maine. Let us try not to go insane. What's up, guys? All right. So yeah, she connects not only just to the early show, the first show that Amanda Bynes was on before getting her own show. She was on this other show called Little Bill, and it was a cartoon, so she was a voice actor. But I mean, we know that even the cartoon departments were not safe. I added in some more of the dots here, and these were animators that were found to have been inappropriate and convicted. And then there was a couple other guys. I gotta connect them in. I gotta figure out which shows exactly they were on and where exactly they go. But I started fleshing out the Nickelodeon side a little more now. Obviously, like, it's kind of dragging me over here on, no pun intended, that was actually awful, I shouldn't have said that. It's pulled me over here to start filling out the Nickelodeon side. Fuck, it's so bad. I'm just still in disbelief, to be honest. Like, I'm a little bit in disbelief of and reading more into the situation with the Kiana Underwood, and after digging more into it, and it is more of the fresher thing, so it was like already last night I was already so down a dark red brick road, you know, like a dark rabbit hole. To add on, I'll show you guys what else I was working on here, and we'll get into that too. To add all this stuff in, like this is the dark, and because a lot of people there, some of you guys were asking about the John Wayne Gacy, but it connects to bigger things. There's so many other things, and there's so much more to add to this, but we're gonna start and just kind of dip our toe here, because this is where it starts to get really, really fucked up, and it's literally 2 degrees of separation from an awful lot of red and orange and yellow dots. So we're going to get into that too. We also need to talk about this guy, who you would recognize him maybe from, he did Road Trip, movies like Road Trip. He did, I think, The Hangover as well. What else did he do? I have to still finish filling him in. But he's connected to some shit. And that's only 2 degrees of separation away from some other folks and some other organizations that we're going to have to get into one way or the other. Where is it? These guys. Some of these big industry giants' biggest fans that we're talking about, their little fan club that's also involved in other stuff. We're going to get into that. That's a whole, I don't know, some people might already know what that is, and if you watch South Park, you definitely know what it is, but you might not, and we're going to get into all that, because that fits very much into here, and with the TW theory, and, you know, I'm kind of coming from it a sideways way, but, like, the curtain's being pulled back. We're just going to go right head into it, because there's an awful lot of tragedy and an awful lot of darkness that's happening beneath the folds as well. You know, there's a lot of this on the surface, and we see, you know, there's red dots all around, and we see where it connects this way. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the in-between, too. There's a lot of names you never hear. There's a lot of other people in different ways being victimized, that it all fits into this whole big sphere in a big way. So we'll get into that, too. But we'll let you guys get in here. We'll give you another couple minutes. Let everybody file in. Try to give as much ahead notice before a stream as I can. But with this, like, I've kind of just been go. And I'm still trying to get the Brittany Murphy, final episode of the Brittany Murphy series done here. But I keep getting just into these rabbit holes, and I can't stay away from the map. Like, I just, and even when I'm not trying, like, I'll be working on it or whatever, and then I'll see something, like I'll go to grab a drink, or I'll go use the washroom, and I'll be looking on Twitter or whatever, and then something next thing comes up, like with this kind of Underwood thing. And so, I mean, it's like, it's just, there's a reason I guess I'm super focused on the map thing, and it's maybe where I need to be right now, and the Brittany Murphy thing's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. We'll get there. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. It's about to get dark, so I hope you're all prepared. I'm gonna, like, this is your warning, I guess, right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Have you seen the thing with the Kiana Underwood just yet? I don't know if you guys have even seen it just yet. But I guess she's been struggling for a long time, too. There was, like, an outreach back in, like, 2023, and I don't know how I didn't see it. I guess it just didn't make it around enough. It didn't really hit the airwaves. I don't know if this chat seems like it's not working. Hold on. Let me refresh. Can you guys hear okay? Is this all good? Because with it, how weird it was getting yesterday, I'm going to try and keep an eye on it here. And it seems like it's already getting a little weird. But maybe it's not. I don't know. Are we good? Everybody can hear? Oh, it's almost midnight. Oh, no. It's still early here. It's still like 7 o'clock, so we're just kind of just beginning the evening. So I'm sorry. For those of you that it's already nighttime and spooky, I hope it's not raining, too, because, yeah, this is about to get, like, for serious, too. Like, all jokes aside, like, this is, it's bad. It's bad. And actually, I should maybe bring up some of these, because we're going to have some internet windows here, a browser, for some of this to show some of these people and what's going on here. And I honestly, like, it's a lot. It's like I've had to process in just myself, like being the veteran that I am in this dark rabbit hole situation. Some of it's just a lot. Some of it's just really a lot. And there's just no, if you're a decent person, you can't not get disturbed and uncomfortable, like no matter how much you know already, that you're like, you already kind of know what territory you're going into. If you're going to be doing the dark, the red brick road side of it versus just the yellow brick road, like you're gonna see some shit, you're gonna hear some shit, you're gonna find out some shit that it makes you really uncomfortable, and it affects your appetite, it affects your sleep. So, like, just like all of the above warnings, like maybe put the snacks down if you're eating snacks. Maybe this is not a snack time stream. And I guess maybe, yeah, we'll start with the Kiana Underwood stuff, and we'll talk a bit more about Cosby to start. But then, like, it's the 2 degrees of separation. It's like I knew it was there, and I kind of knew where it was going, but I'm like, holy crap, like it's right there in everyone's face. They're so like, it's almost mockingly in our face in such a big way, and it's just disturbing. But one sec, let me bring up a couple other windows here so we're ready for it when it's time. Grab us a Cosby window. But yeah, so I didn't sleep well, and then this with the Kiana thing, like I'm not as high energy, I guess, either, as usual. So I apologize for that, but I guess, I'm sure y'all can understand, and let this be the warning for this episode, the extra big, or whatever, podcast, whatever the hell you want to call this thing. In this segment, we're going there. But just to start, obviously, I think a lot of you guys already know with the Cosby thing, where that connects back to, and that's going to take us back over to the Raven-Symoné. And I've added in some other dots over there too. So Little Bill, and we know that, you're not even safe doing a voice character, whether it's a live action show or an animated show, you're not necessarily safe from predators. And Little Bill obviously connects over to Cosby, which then connects us to, we're jumping around a little bit here. I think I gotta change the sensitivity on this mouse or something. I think the scroll is a little bit touchy, or maybe it's on the canvas side. I don't know. But anyway, so Cosby Show, which, no surprise, connects to NBC, which seems to be pretty heavily in just a certain era anyways. Maybe not always. I'm not saying NBC is a bad company overall, but just for the era that we're looking at and for what we've been connecting, I wasn't very surprised that it connected back to NBC. Which obviously connects back to, like that Garth Ancier from the P3DO Den, this guy, and he's the guy that had pushed through and vouched for the West Wing, which is already the immediate connection back. And actually, I guess you guys could probably see too, I've already started organizing a little more with the nodes and fitting some more stuff in, and making it a little more tidy in places. And so I've added in some more stuff here. I've added in a couple little more dots here too, and I don't know if we'll get to those tonight. We'll see what we got for time. But I've added some more stuff in here too. A few of you guys have been mentioning the Amanda Peterson, and that is a big connection too, but where I need to connect with some other companies and stuff, it's getting difficult to fit the things in for where they also need to connect. There's stuff that it's like, I know it needs to go there. I know it needs to get on the map. Like Britney Spears, too. Like, Britney connects over to this Tamra Davis we were talking about the other night. That's connected to Drew Barrymore. Where is she? Here. And a pretty heavy-duty TW Theory movie, which connects back to the Bug Hall, the Misha Barton. We were talking about her. Well, Britney Spears, her movie Crossroads, that was directed also by Tamra Davis. So she's over here, wherever the hell she went again. There she is. She's over here, but Britney is a musician, right? So the music sphere is all the way up here. So I've thrown Britney in, and we've got Lou Taylor on there now, and we've got some of these other big dots here, but I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'm going to have to figure out how that's all going to be, how that's all going to connect properly, because, yeah, it starts to wrap around. So I'll maybe have to have, sometimes I'm going to end up having duplicate dots. Like now I've had to do it also with the iceberg to bring this guy down, because he's very much in this sphere, but he was also very, very much in a sphere down here. So sorry, I'm catching you guys up a little bit. We're going to get back to... We'll go back to the Cosby and the Fresh Prince and all that in 2 seconds, I promise. But the Zemeckis, the Dark Castle, there's a whole other sphere that I got to fill in on this side that Tom Hanks fits right into. So I'm going to end up needing to do, I don't know, for people that are playing both sides of the sphere, like that end up here but also need to be down here, I'm going to just have to probably have them 2 or 3 times on the map. Like Brittany will have 2 dots, Drew might have 2 dots, Hanks I've had to start extending, and with Richard Dreyfuss, because this is getting back now into like the 70s of the iceberg, so now I have the partners, and I've got like you're gonna notice now there's gonna be some duplicates, but that's for a reason also. But anyways, so NBC, yeah, it is like it's emotionally, mentally, all the ways of exhausting, and then it starts affecting sleep, it affects appetite, so I'm just trying to, yeah, self-care, right, guys, like, first and foremost. So as the way that it's affecting me, I know it may affect you guys, so I guess this is where I really want to warn you that, like, an extra warning when we start getting into the NAMBLA and stuff of it all, because it is, and if it's disturbing me in such a way, it's gonna disturb you guys, but I'm gonna try to go as gently and, you know, using trauma-informed language, because we're not trying to do trauma porn here, you know, we're trying to look at it from a way that we can educate and, gain knowledge, but without hurting ourselves, you know, because it can be a lot when you start going down these rabbit holes. But anyways, so the Cosby Show, NBC, immediately the link back, which not surprising. But the Cosby Show also connects to Raven-Symoné, which she has spoken at length about suffering from a dissociative disorder to a pretty extreme degree, which a lot of them do. If you've listened, like if you know about, like, Beyonce has Sasha Fierce, Mariah Carey has Mimi, Emancipation of Mimi, like a lot of, and I think we kind of talked about this the other night, but a lot of them were openly talking about having alters, and I don't think they all realized what that meant at the time, but I think now that we're, again, becoming a more trauma-informed society and a little more understanding the root causes of mental unwellness and where it all fits on the spectrum, a lot of them have a dissociative disorder due to complex trauma in childhood, and whether that was a physical abuse or a mental abuse or just from the pressures of everything that comes with fame, which I think it's okay now. Can we talk about it now that just alone has an impact, which actually brings us to Cameron Boyce, which he wasn't really saying anything bad about the industry, but he spoke a lot about just like the intensity of it and the pressure of it, and he was starting to speak openly about it. He had started on this show, and he, interestingly enough, had worked here, and right before that movie, the Showbiz Kids movie came out, which talks about a lot of this stuff too. It talks a lot about a lot of the Predator and other stuff too. And it was actually co-done by, because you guys wanted to talk about Keanu Reeves, the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the guy, Winters, what's his name? Alex Winters, I think, or Alex something. I don't know, I'd have to look it up. But the guy, he produced that movie, so if that tells you something, maybe a little bit about Keanu Reeves too, I don't know, you can make of that what you will. But anyways, before that movie could even come out, and this kid was starting to get pretty famous at that time, before that movie came out, he ended up having a pretty strange, suspicious a little bit, I consider it suspicious. They said, oh, well, he'd been suffering from epilepsy all his life, and he was taking medication for it, and it was a complication due to that. Which maybe, could be, but the timing was interesting to me. I found the timing compelling in that situation. But anyway, so now we're kind of more able to speak about just the pressures of fame and having paparazzi and having all this stuff. affect them. So, I mean, whether or not worse things were happening to them, which we know they were also in other cases. But all of that is a trauma, and trauma is the root cause of a lot of mental unwellness, the depression, the self-medication, the dissociative disorders, the what used to be called multiple personality, what's now called dissociative identity disorder. There's a spectrum. There's a spectrum to that, so there's a lot more of that, and I mean, I'll let you go ahead and research that more on your own, but I think you kind of get where I'm going on that. But anyways, Raven has talked very openly about that, and she has said that for the Cosby Show, which, okay, let's go back if you don't already know. Maybe you know there was stuff that was going down, but they kind of shuffled it under the carpet and moved it along and buried it pretty quickly. But Cosby had like 60 women accused him of forced trespasses involving intoxicants and just physical harm, child harm. I don't know if you can see this whole article here. Hold on. Let me see what it's going to look like on your side. Make sure we're... Oh, yeah, you guys can see. Cool. Perfect. So, yeah, he was known for... Like, they kind of were making jokes. It wasn't really funny. It wasn't really a joke. Over time. It was a lot. There was a lot. Of all ages... Very not great. And actually, I started watching the other day that Hollyweird Babylon, that channel had dropped by the other day, and I had seen some of their stuff that I'd meant to watch, and one of them was the Cosby Coca-Cola video, and I started it. I haven't had a chance to finish, and there's 3 of them. It's a 3-part series, but actually, if you guys wanted to check that out and dig more into the Cosby whole, I would suggest that, because it's very well done, too, I will say. I was very impressed. I was like, they got good footage. The old Coca-Cola archival footage and stuff. Like, they know what they're doing over there. So check that out. Check that out over there. Hollyweird Babylon. Actually, here, I'll just grab the link. One sec. And I'll drop it in for you guys. Where are we here? But I'd seen them around before when they dropped in too, and I was like, oh yeah, and like I'm meaning to watch one of those videos. And then I found out that it was a series, that there's a few of them, so let me, oh yeah, that'll be easy to find, so I'll just send you right to their channel here. Hold on. They've got, it's like quality over quantity over there, too. They got some good shit. It's not a lot of videos. They got 11 videos, but it's some good shit over there. And I'm not sure why they haven't been posting more recently. I don't know if there'll be more, but for what's there, it's some good shit. Now let me find my way back to the chat here. Oh, there we are. Here we go. Yeah, so anyways, that's a whole situation, okay? Now, Raven was a little kid. She was the little kid. The littlest one. Let's see if we can get a picture, because she was like a little kid. Like, this is so freaking heartbreaking just on its own, too. Like, we're starting to get really into the deep dark here, just on this. But then it gets darker. But it's just, yeah, I'm a little bit already worn down on it. Oops. Nope, we don't want to put the link on Canva. Thank you, though. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Very interesting. I just let me paste a link into Canva. I don't know. I guess because you can do websites and stuff on here now, too. There's so much cool stuff that I have no idea. I don't even have an idea. I'm, like, still trying to catch up. That's not a picture, but, or we may as well have that too. Hold on one sec. Cosby Show. Okay, she was a really little kid. We'll just do it like this, because I don't want to have to readjust the screen. She was a really little kid. She was the littlest kid on that show. So if you don't remember, you remember now, right? Okay, Raven Simone. All right. So she talks about now that she has a dissociative disorder, heavy duty, and that basically when she would get to the top of the stairs of that set to come down the stairs, because because that's kind of, I guess that was her entrance every time she would come down the stairs. I don't know. I'm going to try to find a picture of that. I don't know if I can find a picture. It doesn't really matter. But she would, like, reach the top of the stairs, and her mind goes blank. She does not remember any of the Cosby Show at all. She has no recollection whatsoever. When she watches it, it's like she's watching it like she was watching it for the first time when she finally decided to go and watch. Shoot, I lost the... Hold on, I lost the chat. Where did I leave it here now? Oh, there we go. She doesn't remember anything. She has no memories whatsoever of whatever was going on that set, behind the scenes, during the shooting. She does not remember anything. So when you consider with a dissociative disorder, it's basically a self-defense mechanism to protect the host because something so horrifying is going on. It's prolonged, severe trespasses or harms against a child to such an extent that their brain deletes those memories. It basically, they creates a partition and deletes those memories. So at that point, she was already split, and when she would go into her role, that was a different person. That's a different part of her becoming the kid, whatever the kid's name was. What was her name on the damn show? I should maybe get caught up here. What was the name of the kid on the show? I think it was Huxtables, right? Something like that. I don't know. I didn't really watch it. I wasn't really on that show. I wasn't into that show. But I'm kind of familiar, obviously, because the Cosby situation. Consecutive seasons, number unrated show, along with All in the Family. Of course it was. Of course it was. And then we've got The Fresh Prince. It's all there right there. But who is she? Hold on. Let's not get too distracted here. Sorry, guys. And the Carsey Werner, I gotta fit that all into. That connects back to that 70s show and stuff. It all starts connecting. Oh, shit. What was it? Rudy? Was that her? No. Olivia? What? That doesn't make sense. And for the later seasons, I could have sworn she was... We're in a different dimension. I could have sworn it was something else. Olivia Kendall. I thought she was the kid. Are we in... Did we shift dimensions? Is this like a Mandela effect? Is that right? I mean, it must be. It must be. I don't know. I don't know the show. I was a little more familiar with the Fresh Prince cast too, so I just don't know. But I knew she was on the show. I definitely thought she had a different name though, that she was a different character and that she was like part of the Huxtable family. I guess I may have been thinking of this kid though. Yeah, because she comes up. She comes up in some stuff. Tempest Bledsoe. And after these guys, there's something weird here too, by the way. We're going to go into that one day too. But let's not get too off track here. Anyways, doesn't fucking matter what her character was on the stupid Cosby Show. Doesn't actually really matter. If that was going to be more for you guys, but I don't think you guys care either, do you? But for anyone that was fans, I guess I'm also trying to be respectful and considerate of the fans of these shows. And, you know, referencing the characters and stuff when and where I can. So I apologize on that one. I'm just going to move some of these things a little bit while we're here. But anyway, so she, obviously, something serious happened on the Cosby Show. She's obviously, but made it through, by all miracles, made it through the other side. But that's so Raven, how that pipeline happened, how that all went down. Like, they all were trespassed upon in some way or form during the filming of this show. And Kyle Massey had sort of in the same way and pretty much around the same time, like their trial, I believe, was like the same month. But Kyle Massey had also started engaging with inappropriately with underage girls and got in trouble for that. But then he started openly speaking about, like, well, what else was going on? Like, I was getting preyed on. All the girls around were getting preyed on by the older guys. Like, that was normal. That's what was normalized. And now, obviously, everything's online. Things are changing. Like, and it's not okay. It was never okay. But now these kids are getting looked at like, oh, they're the bad guy. And they are. And if they don't go get help and fix that and do something to fucking end that cycle, then you're a bad person also. You've become the evil that you were surrounded by, and that's not okay. But We know that Drake Bell did go and get help, and he's been going to like very heavy duty treatment and has openly, now where is he, openly spoken about his situation with Brian Peck, which the Brian Peck thing gets very, very dark, and so it's very lucky that Drake is also still with us, regardless that he was also going, like, becoming an offender. I'm not that I'm an offender advocate, or I'm not trying to defend his offending in any way. There is no fucking excuse whatsoever. Alcohol, drugs, fucking having been abused, there's never ever an excuse to harm or trespass a fucking child. Let's just get that very clear. But at some point we need to, why is that not linking properly? We need to, like, break the cycle. We need to identify, see where these infections, how they originate, and if we are going to be able to eradicate that infection, this kind of thing needs to happen. It needs to get nipped in the bud. They need to be like, okay, yeah, this isn't right, you know, and maybe it's lucky that everything's digital now and it can be all be traced, and we can nip it in the bud so much quicker now from a law enforcement stance. Like, they don't even have to go do it. He got caught. Like, you're forced, and this is what you're going to do. But then that, of course, led him to speaking openly about the whole situation for that Quiet on Set documentary, which has now led, you know, all these people, they're getting better help now. You know, Jeanette McCurdy did her book, and she's doing her thing. Ariana Grande, after Quiet on Set, came to a lot of realizations and is reorganizing how she feels about her relationship with her mother, and how that all went down, all the scenes, like seeing all the scenes. I don't think she realized either. She probably doesn't have a memory either of the weird foot stuff that was happening on Nickelodeon. So when she saw the Quiet on Set stuff and saw the memes, like, there was no way she couldn't see it either. Like, whether she had chosen to watch the documentary or not, all that stuff was being circulated on all the social media, right? Like, all the screenshots and the videos and all this stuff, right? So I don't think she even realized. So now she's having this spiral and people are judging her. But basically at the beginning of the Wicked press tour, this was all coming out, and now people are like, oh, it's weird with Cynthia and the whole thing's kind of weird, she's acting weird. Well, yeah, she, like, is in real time being absorbing her trauma and figuring out her whole trauma. So yeah, like, obviously something weird happened there, and she probably didn't have recollections of those scenes and probably hadn't really bothered with it, because then there was stuff too where she started talking about, and we talked about this the other night, so I won't go too deep into it. We'll come back to the Brian Peck situation. But she, like, in real time is starting to understand more of like the depth of the abuse that she had gone through that pipeline that she just hadn't really realized. Which I got to connect this back over, because I think it's Sam and Cat. I think there's some other stuff she was in over here, like Victorious and whatever. I'll have to fill all this in more. But all right, that kind of basically does bring us right back to the Brian Peck, and he's kind of the center of a lot of different things that were going on, which connects back to the P3DO den, and then this guy that we're going to talk about, and then the NAMBLA thing. So we got a lot to cover, so we're going to try to not get too off course here, but everything connects, so it's hard to not. But let me catch up with you guys 1 second in the chat here. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, if you guys remember, Orlando had a lot of struggles himself, and everyone was thinking he was crazy, and like his appearance in Dr. Phil. But then for the last however many years, like 5-6 years now, he's been dropping a lot of truth bombs, but kind of in the way that Kanye does. Like, he's now almost like, it's like he was acting. Because then you see the most recent family photos with his Christmas, like he's doing the perfect little Christmas image now, like everything's been normal the whole time. And I'm like, brilliant actor. Like, he was acting so crazy for his safety. But then the whole time had been saying stuff about Diddy. The whole time, like, I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, like, I was following that pretty closely on lives. And yeah, those lives don't exist anymore. But the Orlando Brown, the Bam Margera thing, like, there was a bunch of stuff going on, and the Aaron Carter stuff too. I was following that stuff on the lives, but Orlando, like, we were doing dissection of Orlando streams, and pretty much started mapping out what were basically seemed to be alters coming out, and like kind of mapping the truths that were coming to light, and that was before all the Diddy stuff started coming out, and the amount of stuff he had said that ended up being a real thing. Yeah, kudos to that guy. Like, good for you, buddy. You have such a beautiful little family. You seem very, very happy. You did what you needed to do. You did your part in this good fight to pull the curtain back on the all those diddlations, all the diddlating details prior to. Like, bravo. That is an actor. Like, that is an artist right there. A comedian and an artist. Improv. Amazing. And it basically was based on how much they're willing to pay him. Like, some of the outlets just were paying him more, and he would give more of a wild performance, so it would get more views. And that was just part of his fucking game. He was playing the game. Like, and that's what they don't expect with some of these survivors, the victims, survivors, whatever you want to call them. They are survivors, but I would say, like, they're thriving. Some of these kids, they knew the game. They grew up in the game in such a way, and they learned it inside out, and the way that they're playing it back on them with subversions and bait and switch, and like, oh, look at me, I'm fucking insane, and look, I've got a little bit of a little police interactions, and he was really putting it on. Because when you now look at the Christmas pictures, which actually, here, maybe I'll just bring it up so you can see it, because it's like, it's like he's been like the most Wonder Bread Land family the whole time. Like, there was never a problem. I should have maybe made a post about it, because it was, I don't know, I just saw it in passing though, and it was like, I don't know if I can even find it now, because it was just on socials. I don't know, I might have to go on Twitter or something to find it, because now it's giving me like Charlie Brown's Christmas. What the fuck, come on now. If you'd have to go on Twitter and onto the socials probably. I saw it go around, and I just should have saved it. Damn, now I feel bad, because it was actually like, it's a good wholesome, it's more wholesome at least, and like a lot of this stuff is so dark, so when you have some wholesome comedic relief, even because it's so funny, like, he's making fun of people in a way too by the what he did, like by the doing the photo shoot, was my feeling. Like, that's what I got from it. Like, it was so over the top that it was to make fun of it. Here we go, I found it. Yeah, it was Facebook, and I don't have Facebook, but it's gonna let me view it, so that works. Oh, hold on. Shit. I have to bring it over here, though. I like when it lets me go without having to log in, because I don't do Facebook. Fuck that shit. All the meta, I don't do meta, and you know, we're all due respect to anybody that's still doing the meta. That's fine. Do what you're doing, but it's not my thing. This face. He's like, gotcha. Like, this was my favorite. This, like, I don't celebrate Christmas or any of that. Like, I don't even do that. I don't subscribe to the Matrix structure or any of that shit. But this made my Christmas. This was fantastic. I hope you guys could see this. I might gotta, hold on, I might gotta scooch it a little bit. I'll scooch it a little bit. You can see it though, right? You guys can see this, okay? The big old smile, like, yeah, got him. The matching jammies. Got him. Maybe you guys aren't gonna enjoy that as much as I did. But for if you were following those streams and you know how, like, you were, and I don't know, I don't know how I feel about him supporting Trump. That's a whole other fucking thing. Like, maybe he's playing a different game now. I didn't realize it was a Trump hat until looking at it this closely. I saw it very small on my phone, so I didn't even realize that part. I don't know how to feel about that part of it. Come on, Orlando, you know better than that. Whatever. Some people are still figuring it out. You know, ICAPI didn't realize what he was dealing with when he was going into it either and talking about it and in favor of it. That's whatever. We're not here to talk about politics right now anyway. But that was a Gotham moment as far as I'm concerned. So Orlando is thriving. Maybe actually we're going to start putting this in here. This is what we're going to do. Because they're thriving. He made it out the other side and he is fucking thriving. We're green lights. Bright green, good to go. Macaulay too. Probably got to put him on the green light. He's a good guy. I can't say he's a good guy. I don't know the fucking guy. and he might not be entirely innocent, but he's made it out the other side in one piece and seems to be doing very, very, very well with his lovely wife, Brenda Song, who fits all right into the whole rigmarole with it. She was which brings us back to Brian Peck, oddly enough. The mirror, if you guys weren't watching the other night, we talked about it. Brenda Song, the mirror she talked to on that show, on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, was Brian Peck. And he also worked closely with the Sprouse twins. So I have them in yellow right now because I don't know for sure, but the one decided to keep working in the industry and the other didn't. Where are they? Oh, they're over here. One of them decided to keep working in the industry and the other kind of went off and did his other thing. I don't know. I have to look into that more, but that kind of fits in with this sphere, and that matches up with the Sweet Life. And Brenda Song, I'm going to have to line her up somehow and connect her over to Macaulay too. There's sort of space. I think there's going to be enough space. I'll be able to, I'll be able to link her across. Good. But anyways, Brian Peck. So some of you guys know already, and probably because you watched the Quiet on Set, because they did talk about this, or you just know you've looked into it before, or it did go around. It was one of the racier details, I guess you could say, that came out of the documentary, The Quiet on Set. And actually, maybe let's catch up on the chat before we go right deep into this, because we're almost actually not too far behind. Yeah, Keanu is a very clean image, but there's a lot going on there. We'll do a Keanu day, and because I have to connect more stuff in there. But like his 8-month pregnant wife, girlfriend, she miscarried, quote unquote, which we know that you could have, that baby could be removed and still be living somewhere else, but could be said it was a miscarriage. And if they sedated her. It seems very Rosemary's Baby. Like, I don't know. Like, there's something weird there. I don't know what it is just yet. But something feels gross. Like, my stomach churns the more I look into it and read about it. And with the Marilyn Manson and the Evan Rachel Wood. And there's so many other things going on there. And Keanu was in very close with the River Phoenix situation. And with that era and those bands. Like, he was doing his own band gig thing at the time with some of those same people. Running the same circuit because they were like actors, but then they're also doing like musician thing on the weekend for fun, whatever. So Keanu, I don't know, and the way he connects with Drew, I don't know. He does have a squeaky clean image, but I just don't know. Jason Momoa, recent video footage of them at the awards show the way he, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that either. Like Tommy Lee Jones. Some of the pictures, if you watch the Victoria Jones and Tommy Lee Jones, some of the ways he's holding his daughter and gripping onto her and dragging her along by the arm disturbs me. And also in the Courtney Stodden video, the child Doug Hutchison and Courtney Stodden child bride video, the way he's leading her around and grabbing her around, it's very gross. It's very, you're a weak man, and so you need to have dominance over smaller, vulnerable people. You are a piss ant. People that do that are piss ants. To anyone, if you're doing that to anyone, elderly, kids, like if that's the way you lead people around or you grip on, like it just, you're a piss ant. So now we know why he's such a bodybuilder though, because inside he's a fucking piss ant. If it's what I'm thinking, and I trust you, Holocrow. It's good to see you, by the way. I trust your judgment on that of what you're saying, and if it's what I'm thinking, then yeah, that guy, he's a piss ant too. And I'll go take it and go. She on the ABC talk show The View co-hosts stirred controversy by stating she would refuse to hire someone. Well, she's grown up in a Wonder Bread land in on that side of it too, like to please. Like, you got to think they were who was above them. Like, we'll go into that too at some point of the hierarchy within the industry and even their own turning on themselves and hating their own race for whatever reason, or not hating, but trying to distance themselves from their own race for whatever reason. But maybe she means that on both sides. Like, I mean, it's the same as like maybe. I don't know. And not that I want to defend any kind of racism. Let's not be racist. We don't need to be racist. But I think that's more of a class thing, like more of a class socioeconomic thing than a race thing, which is still not great. But I think it's like that she's gonna be weary of people that may be involved in crimes too. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen that segment, so I can't really speak for her or what. I'd have to hear more context of what was going on, because I know sometimes they're joking too. Like there are comedian aspects to it, and some of them are a little bit crass. That like. I mean, that form of comedy versus what you see at the roasts, like the roasts of Rob Reiner and shit like that, I mean, is still nothing, right? Compared to, so if she maybe was trying to be joking about it, I don't know. But some of them are comedians, and they do joke around, but I know that they get in trouble for the jokes too. I think Whoopi got in trouble for some of those jokes she was saying. I can't remember what kind of jokes or exactly what she was saying, but she got in trouble for some jokes. And Whoopi needs to she's going to end up over here somewhere. She's pretty closely tied in with some of these early companies. I think Zemeckis was one of them. I don't know. I got to look back, but she started popping up everywhere, so she's going to be a tough one to fit in because she's popping up all over the map, and I'm trying to figure out how she got in there because she just kind of came out of the blue as an adult and just was in the system. But anyway, okay, let's not get too off track here. Let me come back to Peck, and let me finish catching up in the chat here, and then we'll go from there. So we're all on the same page. Who played the younger daughter, and her name was Claire. Yes, Olivia, don't fight it. She did play Olivia. Okay. Now, I might be getting it confused, because I didn't really watch those shows, but I was kind of familiar with the Fresh Prince. What was the other one? Gonna turn off this fan so you don't get the background noise. I forget the other one. There's a couple shows that I think because also Tatiana, I was thinking this was going to be a big connection to Jonathan Brandis when I first was looking at it, because I was getting confused. Tatiana Ali, Jonathan Brandis's long-term girlfriend, but it was on Fresh Prince. She played Ashley Banks on Fresh Prince, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, right, Fresh Prince, my bad. Same way as I was getting West Wing and House of Cards confused at first, because I thought Kevin Spacey was going to connect in here somewhere on the West Wing, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's House of Cards, that's another one. But he still ended up connecting right in, because he is right in that sphere, like I knew he would be. Like he was still in the right place, just connected to the wrong thing, but then still connecting to the right guys, right? So it's all making sense. It's a lot to keep up with, and it's starting to get complicated. But anyways, yeah, my bad. Some of the characters and the people, I'm confused because and you know what? Like, because I wasn't really watching kid shows. Like, by the time I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, I wasn't really watching kid shows. I was watching South Park and like horror movies I had no business watching, and pretty much whatever the fuck I wanted. So wherever the fuck we were, pardon my language, like whatever movie collection happened to be there that we had access to, it was sort of just like, go ahead, whatever. And it wasn't always appropriate. A lot of it was inappropriate. And even, like, adults back then, I feel like they just had no fucking concept. And it was uncomfortable watching movies with adults sometimes. Because it's like, why are we, like, we don't need to watch movies that have stuff going on. Like, it's rated R for a reason. Why am I 10 watching this fucking movie with you? Like, why are you, you know? So that's a whole nother layer of a whole nother fucking thing. We don't have to go there. Anyway. Brian Peck. Where are you? There we go. Okay, let's at least stay here so we don't get too off track on that, because we're going to come back to that. Because she is so young that's why she doesn't remember. Yeah, maybe, but, I mean, she was 5, 6, 7. She looked young. She looked really young, but she wasn't that young. She was 7, 8, whatever years old. And yeah, people write it off as that, but no, she's obviously been diagnosed. She's been going to therapy for that. Ariana Grande, too, she's going... That whole thing where she was making the joke about the mind erasure clinic was it's an EMDR therapy clinic that she was promoting. And EMDR therapy very commonly is for very complex trauma-related mental unwellness. So same idea. And of course she would need that. Like, of course she would need some pretty heavy-duty kind of therapy or some kind of intervention to save yourself, some kind of find spirituality, find a new hobby. I don't fucking know, but like for what a lot of these kids went through, and then as you in real time are coming to the realization and then going back, and maybe she did decide to go back and watch some stuff, and it's like seeing your little self and like remembering stuff, like how like in your early like late 20s early 30s memories start coming back and become more clear, and you start getting a little more information and you start understanding better from an adult perspective, is like a secondary trauma. you know, you're re-traumatized because you're like, now you can see it from an adult lens, and it's like, where the fuck were the adults? Why was nobody protecting me, right? Bug Hall even said it in his video. Why, like, he became conscious at like 8 years old that nobody was protecting him. There he is. Anyway, it's a whole situation. So, like, there's indicators. So this is where you get into the differential of, is it a red line, is it a orange, or what color is it? And some of them, they maybe haven't fully, like, Ariana hasn't fully come out and said, oh, I have DID, or oh, I had this trauma or that trauma, more severe than just being on the show. But, like, yeah, just being on the show puts her as a victim. Like, you're for sure a victim in that sense, you know? So this is where it's kind of like, I guess you're getting an idea of, how the criteria for what's going to be orange and what's yellow and so on and so forth. Because she hasn't necessarily, like, there's no convictions, there's none of that. But for who she connects to, and for what we know she is now struggling with, how she's treating it, how obviously she's kind of spiraling too. She's struggling. She's obviously struggling a lot. And I think that Cynthia's doing her best to try to, like, support her. And maybe it's also a little bit advantageous on her part because she's maybe also interested in her more than Ariana is interested in Cynthia. I don't know. They need to stop with the whatever they're doing with the eating. Like, they both need to get that sorted out and take better care of themselves. Because that's getting scary. That's getting scary. But that all started because as soon as the Wicked stuff was, like, and that's why it seems so weird, because I think they've trauma bonded, right? Because as soon as the Wicked press tour, all that was starting, the Quiet on Set documentary came out, and she was now coming into a big realization of everything. And that's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of dots can connect all at once very quickly, especially when you're getting that broader picture. Like, it didn't get any clearer than what was going on in that, on the Quiet on Set. Like, they put it together for her pretty clearly with the clips and stuff, right? Like, she's looking back on it like, holy fuck. Like, that's a fetish. That's fetishism. They were making her doing fetish kink stuff under the guise of kids' humor, for sure. 100%, you know? Yeah, Oprah's complicated because she's going to need to fit... Oh, shit. One sec. We zoomed in way too much. Oh, there we go. No big deal. Oprah has to fit up in here somewhere. She connects in with the network, with the other network. She has to connect with Naomi Campbell. She connects with, like, the Weinstein. She connects with Katy Perry. She connects with that guru, that John of God, which we do need to start fitting these cults and stuff in here too, like the Children of God. And you know, but actually Rose McGowan, she just did an interview, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but she just did an interview about saying that Hollywood was worse than the cult she escaped from, and the cult she's talking about is the cult of the Children of God, and they've rebranded a few times because of their inappropriate practices and cultural beliefs involving children. But River Phoenix, that's where he comes from, his whole family. And then when they left the cult, somehow their mother, having no work experience for like 10 years and them living in like third world countries and doing culty missionary work, was able to immediately basically come to Hollywood, come to California, and be a secretary for, guess what? NBC. So I don't know what the fuck was going on there, or if there was some more, like, there's something deeper, darker, and more pre-planned, pre-arranged, and part of a pipeline, a certain pipeline, maybe to involve some other companies, 3-lettered companies. I don't know yet. I haven't dug deep enough, but if you look into the Children of God and the beliefs they were pushing and what was going on there, it was very much like we're having a Diddy party all across the nation with everybody's children. Bring your children. Yeah, like, that's a whole fucked up thing. That was a whole fucked up thing. So if you want to look at, there's some homework for you guys. But anyway, yeah, that all connects back. It all connects, and it's awful. It's awful. And now the voices are getting louder, though, like, and all these people now that have been saying it all these years, like, bravo to the Elijah Woods and the Corey Feldmans and the Bug Halls and the, Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano and Drew Barrymore. Like, all these people have been trying to say stuff at great risk to themselves, because look what happens, in some cases. Like, who really knows exactly why suddenly this week, all the same time of all these other things going down, that seem to all line up to some of the same companies and the same people. Like, this situation is very fishy to me. Very fishy. And the fact that in a mass surveillance state, they can't even tell us they don't actually know the type of vehicle. Nobody got a good look at the driver. It's a hit and run, but dragged her for 2 blocks. And the person just doesn't stop. Nobody saw a damn thing. In New York? In New York. With fucking all these buildings and all these apartments and all this stuff. When Dina Hines had her situation in New York, there was several witnesses all around. Where is she? Because she connects to Morgan Freeman, which connects to Tommy Lee Jones. Where is she? She's in here somewhere. There she is. She had she was taken out outside of apartments in New York, and there was tons of witnesses. And there was no cameras. There was no video. This was fucking a million years ago now, decades ago. No surveillance society. No mass surveillance. Lots of witnesses. Okay? How? Then, mass surveillance society, no proper witnesses. No proper witness account. Is it a gray sedan or is it a black SUV? The fuck is going on there? Does it have anything to do with how this all connects back directly to some of these main companies that seem to be connecting into some other really gross shit pretty quickly? I don't know. And maybe, did Kathleen Kennedy close down because more and more people are awakening to and talking about more openly this situation? More people are talking about it. I'm seeing more people posting videos. It's all becoming a little more mainstream now. And suddenly, because there's this, you guys, if you haven't been here for this, there's this cluster with this known predator that was supported by this company and this guy right after he got out of jail. He was still supported. And they are closely related to this guy and his company, which made stuff like this. And with the iceberg, he made Indiana Jones, which involved River Phoenix. Kathleen Kennedy, oops, let's not move River Phoenix or Brandis, everybody stay where you are. Kathleen Kennedy is right in there like a dirty shirt. She's an OG for both of them. For this one and this one. She ended up taking over this company for him for the last 14 years. And apparently is the reason that everyone's like, oh, she ruined Star Wars. No, she doesn't know how to entice children. She's not catering to certain groups of people. Their fan club. She was leaving out their whole big fan club. So people's inner children that were attached to those franchises, and these people were no longer interested. Because it's either you watched it as a kid and you were enticed as a child, and now that's a nostalgia as an adult, and you look back on it fondly because it gave you all the warm fuzzies as a kid. Or you're one of these people and you want to see the kids in TW Theory fucking movies. You want to see them in their tidy whities. You want to see them in distress. You want to see them in all these weird precarious situations. And this company, or these people, this organization, were very big fans. The more I'm looking back and digging into stuff, because I kind of read into this stuff before, but this is the deep dark. I don't even want to go into this territory because it's just so icky. It's so dirty. It's so fucking dirty. But this company, or these people were a very big fan of this guy's movies, and this guy's movies, and this guy, all these guys that connect in to Big Blue Dots. Love them. They had a newsletter I found out last night as I was reading, and I'm just like, this is it right here. Fuck the TW theory. Why don't we talk more about this? And no wonder they try to keep this so hush-hush, and they try to downplay it like, oh, it's not a big thing, and it's this. And they tried to be more public in the 90s about it, and people were disgusted with them because it's disgusting. And if you don't know what it is, just go look it up, because I got to be careful of how I present and talk about all this too. And it's just bad. It's if you want to look more into it, I guess. I just don't want to damage anyone more than they need to be to understand what's going on here. Just know this is big bad people that are openly interested in seeing certain material and are known for it to be just really bad. Okay. So, but that ties us in, and it's like, it's going to get darker even, but that's the fan club. That's the fan club for men and boys. Just go look it up and you'll know what it is. I don't want to have to say more than I have to explain this, just for the sake of my own safety also, because where this all ties in, and I'm not the first to have noticed it either. Like, I guess, like, you never are. People are always trying to point this stuff up, but they're silenced. But there was an article, and maybe I'll share it to the group or whatever, the Eyes Wide Open group or something, because there's some articles and there's some other stuff that it's just like, oh my god, it's so much. And if you want to dig deeper into it, you can, but you don't have to get the overall here. And it's just like, it's a... Anyways, I gotta map in the other people that were responsible for their newsletters and for running their more public stuff, because they've gone way private now, and so they try to downplay that there's not many members, but it's just all online and in private now, so you don't see it. They don't have physical newsletters anymore. They don't have physical group meetings anymore. They got everything on the digital, and they're all known for ending up being convicted. They all pass around and share illegal media in different formats, like a lot, not all of them, but pretty much. The FBI was trying to was using their own system against them to track them and catch a bunch of them back in the day, and that's why they decided to start being more private and stop being so public about it. Okay, which brings us to this guy. Where'd he go? It all connects back. This guy, Todd Phillips. Okay, Todd Phillips, and if you go to Todd Phillips's wiki, this isn't on there. So I've actually started considering that I need to set up a wiki account so I can start adding things and editing things, because the way that they're rapidly trying to bury things and hide things and not have the breadcrumb trail there for people is gross. So now I want you to look at what the title of this movie is and think about some people you've heard of and what they're referencing in the iCopy videos. And it's not even what... Maybe, I don't know, it's like, I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, but there is coded language that some of you may have already gone and looked into and you know about. If you read into like the FBI fact sheet for these groups and their symbolism and stuff, then you probably already know exactly where this is going. But this guy, this is not on his wiki, but his company, Stranger Than Fiction, which I got to map all that out too, but I was getting so mentally exhausted, and after going into all these directions with this, it was just a hard time for me, and I was like, fuck this, I need to go to bed now, and we're done for tonight. It's enough. That's enough dark for today. But this guy, if you actually wanted to go look him up right now, I've only just started trying to fit in where I can fit in movies he's connected to, but Road Trip, and you guys were talking about Tom Green the other night, and I think you guys are getting confused with the openly polygamist child marriage advocate guy. Tom Green is also named Tom Green. Tom Green does not have allegations against him whatsoever, but I did find it interesting that one of his first movies, he had a very small role in Road Trip that this guy was part of. He was responsible for Road Trip, and Road Trip is another movie that Sean William Scott had first started on, and he connects directly one degree away from the P3DO den. So that is compelling. But Tom Green, you guys were confusing. You're confusing a different Tom Green. There's a Tom Green from somewhere down in the U.S. that has been pushing for polygamy and child marriage. And yes, he is a very bad, sick man. He went on Jerry Springer to try to push his beliefs, and they all got scared off the television then too. Same as with these NAMBLA people. Because that's not okay. It doesn't matter how much they think that it's okay, or what Bible or whatever, not the Bible, I don't know, whatever scripture they're reading that tells them it's okay. It's just not okay. But anyway, this isn't on his wiki, but his company, Stranger Than Fiction, I think it's like in the small print on his wiki. I think it is on the wiki, but it's just not very as out there. But his company did this movie. There's another guy that directed it, and there's other people involved, and it just fucking, this is where I needed to stop. I needed to take a break. And I looked up this movie even too, and this, like, I had started it, and I was just like, because it's just a documentary, it's not actually, like, it's not harm material, it's nothing like that, it's a documentary of them trying to present themselves to the world. It's a NAMBLA documentary trying to, it's like interviews and stuff with them and doing little presentations talking about it, of their beliefs. So it's not harm material, but it is so fucking disturbing. Like, I got 5 minutes in and I was like, I cannot. Like, for research and investigative purposes, I probably am going to have to. I'm going to have to force my way through it and share some of these clips. And this is all a very big part of everything that's going on here. And to better understand, like, this is the defense against the dark arts part of the segment. Because if we're going to better understand what these people are looking for and how to better protect your own children and children in your community, and just in general how we can become more proactive and more preventative in society versus reactive. Like, at this point, we're still just waiting for kids to get harmed to do anything about it. People miss out on a lot of the red flags. A lot of the time, the kids are being harmed by somebody in their own house or very close to the family, and they're missing out on all the red flags because they don't see that way. They don't feel that way about children, which, good thing. Fucking good riddance to the people that are fucking infected in that way. You know, like, it's fucked up. It's so fucked up. But in order to be able to understand it and be able to, like, not only track these people and how these sick people, these sicker people all connect into, because John Wayne Gacy doesn't just connect to Peck, he also connects to Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips did a movie called Hated Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. Controversial punk rocker, blah, blah, blah. Phillips wrote a letter to John Wayne Gacy, who was an acquaintance of Gigi, blah, 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 asking to paint the movie poster for the film. So he's basically the executive producer. Oh, cool. Does that have anything to do also with, maybe it's not on here. No. But he's responsible for a lot of things. That one's on there, and they don't mention it. They don't mention it at all. No, they don't mention it at all. This movie. I'll bring it up. I'm gonna bring up the wiki for this Chicken Hawk movie. But this is like it's so fucking horrific. Like, it's horrifying to hear what these people believe and how they see things. But you need to know in order to understand, to prevent the harm. You know, like, this is something as a society, if we don't better understand this and start being preventative and proactive and recognizing, like in the TW theory, it's kind of pointing out, like, look, guys, this is the kind of stuff they're into. And when you notice this in a lot of movies, this is what's going on here. Like, it's either catering to, or the person that's made the movie is interested in seeing kids in their underwear, because why do they have kids in their underwear for this movie? For no fucking reason. It's nothing to do with the plot of the movie. It is no artistic merit. It's nothing. It's not for the kids that are going to watch the movie. Kids watching the movie don't need to see kids in their underwear. Like, that doesn't make fucking sense. It made a lot of kids uncomfortable, in fact. And in a way, that was almost a trespass against kids that were signing up to watch a movie about Little Rascals, and then had to watch a kid running around in his tighty whities for 5 minutes. Like, for no fucking reason. Like, that was a trauma on two ends, you know? But alright, let me catch up with you guys here before we go too far. We're kind of going to EMDR the trauma of this all. We're going to touch the trauma for a second, then we're going to back up. We're going to go close to it, then we're going to back up. Anyway, because this gets so fucked up. But let's catch up with the chat for a minute. I need a break. I need to, let's not go too hard into it, because it's so disturbing, and you start getting the sick, churning feeling in your stomach, and we don't need to feel sick. We don't need to feel sick to our stomachs. We are going to feel sick to our stomachs, but we don't need to. This isn't meant to be a trauma porn thing, right? So, yeah, Charlie Sheen, yep. Yes. There's so much more to that, too. Like, that connects, like, the Sheen thing, I don't know. There's so much more going on there, too, with what he connects to, and there's some more mapping to do there, and I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything necessarily, of doing anything per se. I can't say one way or the other, but we're going to make connections, and you guys can decide for yourself how to feel about it. Let me start moving some of this stuff around too, because while I'm in here, I'm gonna need more room. I'm slowly but surely organizing stuff and getting stuff moved around, because I'm starting to understand more too of where these clusters are happening and where I'm gonna need more room. Like I'm identifying the hot spots or whatever you want to say. But yeah, he's all into it. He's in it enough in a way. Like he was close enough with Bob Villard, and in his defending of Brian Peck having employment is a little iffy. And Brian Peck being connected very much not only to John Wayne Gacy, but there was a whole thing going on there, and the way that it connects back to the Den. This is Red Rooms. If you don't know about Red Rooms, like I'm gonna just come out and say it. This is Red Rooms. This is Red Room content. This was a Red Room, not only just a producing harm and other material, trespasses and harm material. It was Red Rooms, I guess. Like I don't know what else to say, how to explain that. I gotta be so very careful of how I talk about this and what I say. And just again, for the trauma of it all, if you want to look more into what that means, I think I'll leave it at that. I'll zoom in a little more too. So if you want to search these names and you want to find out what that is about, go ahead. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to go into it, because if you want to know, go ahead. But I think you guys get it just from enough what I'm saying. We're talking harm material to the 9th degree, because some people don't just want to see kids doing things to each other or whatever. They like, there's more to it. Like, think about it, that there's different degrees of adult material for different adults that have different preferences. There's different material that people have preferences for this too, and some of these people cater to that, and there's a reason why these people are a big fan of this guy, and these people connected to this guy. There was something more going on here. And whether this guy was directly involved with this network of what was going on or not, there might be a reason they're a fan in a different way. They might have been a fan of his content, if you understand what I'm saying. He might not have just been a painter and a clown he was perhaps also a producer and distributor of what he was doing to those kids, because that material exists. And where does it come from? Who makes it? It doesn't just come out of the sky and appear online, right? So anyways, Todd Phillips, Chicken Hawk, coded language. If you, like, I'm going to try to just tread on this so carefully. But Todd Phillips was a big supporter of this. He supported this group, and I don't even know if I can show the wiki. Like, I just all the warnings, all of the warnings. I might even have to put this like as an 18+ video or something, like on the other end. But Chicken Hawk was let me see how you guys can see this, if this is good. Oh no, well, to zoom out a bit. We'll leave it at that. It is created by the NAMBLA people, trying to show their lifestyle and trying to put off that, like, they're harmless and they just love them, and it's supposed to be this natural blah 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 thing. The term Chicken Hawk, and so if you remember, and then there's the show Robot Chicken. Okay, so if you've watched the iCappy, which again I don't support and believe everything that he said, and I don't believe everything is fact, and I don't think that he had it all right. I think he was wrong about a few things and people, but he did mention Seth Green at one point, and I have to get Robot Chicken on here, but he does have a show called Robot Chicken. He was part of that show. There is a show. I'm gonna move this around too. It's too much. The show Robot Chicken, and that show was really fucked up. I never really watched it, but when I started reading into more of it, and I'd seen clips of it and stuff, and I guess that's why I just wasn't interested, because I was like, those commercials are gross. I don't like that. It bothers me. But that show Robot Chicken might be coded language if you are choosing to believe what iCappy had said about Seth Green and what he had told him, allegedly. But we know he was also calling out some other big people on this map. And, like this guy. and this guy. And the way that these people do line up is a little questionable. So at some point I got to get Cappy on here, because he's in here somewhere in this section. He was in like Thor. He was kind of small time, but he's somewhere in here. He's going to have to get on the map here, and so I can kind of track down exactly what he was seeing from his interactions. You know what I mean? Because there was a physical altercation at one point. There was some stuff going on, right? And at that time, there was stuff going on. So we're going to map that at some point too. But anyways, the chicken hawk basically was Nambla trying to be like, accept us. And everyone was like, no. So I'll let you, if you want to slow down and read. Oh, there it is. But this film's distributor, Stranger Than Fiction, was run by Todd Phillips, who founded the New York Underground Film Festival and later went on to produce the Hangover films, Due Date, and Joker, which this is where it started really disgusting me, because the Joker movies, with Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, like, this is where it just starts turning your stomach, because here's your entry point. Here's your entry point. You did the job, you did the thing for the group, for the big club, and now look, we got Road Trip. Old School was such a good fucking movie, and I hate it. I hate that this is all connected to that guy, because this is some stuff, like, and I liked the Joker movie with Joaquin. I used it in the Reiner series as an example. Like, holy fuck. And, maybe that was just the ticket of what he needed. But then the fact that there's this connection, that bothers me. That bothers me. But then look at the lucrative career for somebody that apparently is very in support of a group that is, like, probably one of the most hated organized groups on the planet. And not that I want to promote any hate or harm or violence or witch hunting or anything against anybody. I think that there could be something learned here, but it is disturbing. It is disturbing what that group believes, and especially in this day and age, like, we know better that none of that is okay. All of it is trauma, no matter how much you slowly groom or try to gently, lovingly, whatever the fuck you've convinced yourself of it being okay to do this stuff to the kids. It's not okay. It causes the damage. Like, their argument was that they're doing it in a gentle, like, they're not forcing the trespasses. They're seducing and enticing the kid to the point that they're willing. But in a lot of cases, that just means, they're buying them a bunch of video games, they're watching certain movies and stuff with them, they're taking them to the theme parks, and they're taking them to these places. And then the way that a lot of these places and things connect, the people that own a lot of, like, the theme park company, Landmark Entertainment is a guy that owns a bunch of theme parks and does special event themed locations, like themed rides and themed stuff. Who the fuck was it? It's Gary Goddard. I think I've got him on here. I might not have him on here yet. He might need to get on here soon if I don't have him on here yet. I believe it was Gary Goddard, and he's in here like a dirty shirt too. And if I don't have him on here, I'm kind of surprised. I just might not have him as the right color yet. Hold on. Oh, I don't. Shit. Okay. He's in the video, though. I talk about him in the video, in the Victoria Jones, Nick Reiner video, just before the BuzzFeed video. So I guess I hadn't got him in there yet, but I'm going to put him in there because he is, and actually I don't know if I could say for sure that he's a blue yet, but he is right in here like a dirty shirt, and he's like the guy that would be like, oh, my friend owns a theme park. And the kids, like, it's same with that Nickelodeon. The animator's like, yeah, I work at Nickelodeon. I do this show. And that's how they were enticing the kid. Same idea. That, oh, my friend owns a friggin' theme park. Like, wonder why they get in with these people or why they choose to own these sorts of companies. Maybe. I don't know. But the fact that it's right in here with the P3DO Den, he was one of the early investors. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Let me just triple check before we set it in stone here, actually, and then before we get back to the Todd Phillips. Hold on. It's a lot. There's a lot of names, it's a lot of information all at once, so I just want to be very perfectly clear and not be making any accusations or statements that are false. Landmark Entertainment Group, yes. Okay, in 2002, he left from Gary Goddard Entertainment, later known as the Goddard Group, entertainment design firm based in Hollywood, Los Angeles. The firm reorganized, changed ownership, and was rebranded Legacy Entertainment in 2018 after he left the company following accusations. Okay, so he's going to get a color. Hold on. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Oh, for fuck's sakes. This is why he wasn't on here yet, because it's going to be hard to fit that in. Where to fit all that. Tune in next time for that one. I'm going to put him in as Blue, and he's going to have to be in here somewhere. Probably here, because he's one of the early investors in Den. And yeah, he owned basically theme parks and themed, like, you know, when they would have, like, at a theme park where they would have, like, a movie-themed ride or a movie-themed thing, like, that was him. That was part of what he was doing. And one of his victims is no longer with us, and that's why I was like, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. It's another red dot, and we need less red dots. No more red dots. Like, that's gonna be the fucking motto here. No more red dots, please. Fuck. Here, I'll read it to you guys, though. You're probably sitting on the edge of your seat, like, what? I guess if you want to look it up, you could, too, but, Brian Claflin, aspiring artist, fashion designer from Salt Lake City, accused Goddard in 1999. He ended his life in 2014 after having shared his accusations with a law firm and his father. He was making the report. He was making the report, and he is no longer with us, and whether he did it to himself or not is questionable. Because he was making reports to a lawyer and starting to speak about what happened to him. Fuck's sakes. And it's just a kid that wants to do what they love. He wanted to be an artist. And people have their passions and purpose used against them to be taken advantage of. And people just want to do what they love so much that some people are willing to give bits and pieces of their soul, but then they don't realize what all that comes with. And, like, it's just so fucking sad that that's the system. May he rest in peace. Man, every time, like, it's just so many more red dots. Like, there's the ones I knew about, but this is very quickly connecting to so many more, and it's just a lot. I'm probably gonna have to take a couple days break after today on this, and I gotta finish the Brittany Murphy video anyway, so I will very intentionally not get pulled back into it, and I'm gonna just finish the Brittany Murphy video and come back to this, because this is, it's sad. It's sad. But anyway, back to Todd Phillips. Road Trip, Starsky and Hutch, Borat, which actually Borat had revealed the Rudy Giuliani situation, so I don't know how to feel about the guy, Sacha Baron Cohen, just yet. He's sort of a wild card, but School for Scoundrels, so a lot of big name stuff. The whole Hangover series, Due Date, that Project X, the party movie. Let's normalize big parties. Let's get everyone really excited about giant house parties like the Diddy parties. It's kind of feeling very Diddy coded now in retrospect. Then the Joker movies. Big movies. Big movies. It's very much like a Bryan Singer situation. Because if we go back and look at the Bryan Singer of it all, it's very similar. It's like all these little weird movies to start. Apt Pupil. That ended up having those shower scenes. That there were several unnamed extras that had tried to make accusations about it, but it was just show business, you know. And obviously Bryan Singer had money. But the shower scene for that film was not necessary. And they were allegedly told to, they had alleged that they were told to take off the little Speedos. And if they didn't, they would just be replaced. And a lot of their families are, like, coming from poor families, man. Like, Brad Renfro he was living in a trailer with his grandma. His parents are fucked up. Everything was fucked up. And, all these kids were kind of same situation, and their families needed the money. And they couldn't just not. Their parents were like, do what they tell you, or else kind of thing, you know? We need the money. And Apt Pupil connects back to the Ian McClellan, who connects directly back to Elijah Wood, who has been talking about it. It connects back to, the Brad Renfro connects back to Stephen King It's a Stephen King story originally. And the Bryan Singer, this is one of his early movies. And then he was given, like, X-Men. Maybe we'll just bring it up. Let me bring up Bryan Singer, too. Hold on. Oi, 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 oi. How are you guys doing? Maybe I'm going to check in with the chat for a minute here. Let's take a break from that again for a second, because it's a lot. It's a lot. But this is the world. This is the world behind the scenes. This is the curtain. We're pulling back the curtain, and not just the wizards, but on the wonderful... Oh, that's not it. Hold on. The wonderful Wizards of Oz and their empire, the land of Oz. Now we're starting to see the landscape of Oz, of what's really going on. It's not just a yellow brick road. It's a little guy hanging from a tree in the background, you know. And they tried to debunk that and say it was this, that, and other thing. I don't know. That's its own little weird story. But Singer, same idea. I don't know. Also, yeah, here's so many allegations over the years. Since 1997, here's the shower scene. 2014, 2017, 2019. And it took all the way till 2019 to finally get him out of the fucking club for good. To be tried, tested in the court of public opinion. And, like, I couldn't even watch this movie. Like, I like Queen. I like Bohemian Rhapsody. That's one of my favorite songs. And he fucking had to ruin it by being in it, by being the guy, and now I can't watch it ever. And like the X-Men's, if you look at just all the stuff he was able to do, the Star Treks, the Superman, after this with Spacey, App Pupil, couple weird ones, Lion's Den, like, come right out and say it, why don't you? You sick fuck. But App Pupil with Brad Renfro, which, as you know, if you've been following along, Brad Renfro also connects back to Joel Schumacher and The Client and Tommy Lee Jones, which connects right back to the Reiner. Where is he? There he is. And also Lost Boys, Corey Haim. And I also started noticing, like, more of these dots, they were all represented. A lot of them were represented by this Bob Villard guy. So he needed a node for the amount of more connections he's got. Yeah, so when you start to see it for what it is, and how they go about subversively having these people come into the industry, how they pay their dues, how they climb their way up, and then are rewarded, and then why those that don't want to play that game, some of them, if they're being forced to play that game, and if they don't comply, things happen to them. Where others just choose to remove themselves and they can get far and away enough and kind of be in and out of it in such a way where, like, I don't know how Elijah Wood's managed, because he's been in and out some weird circles and then out here talking about it. So he might be, like, yellow but with an orange ring around. Like, he's getting, I don't know, you're getting, or a red ring around. Like, you're getting into the danger zone, guy. I don't know. And how you made it out in one piece without really getting too hard into the drugs, or I don't know, you know, like... Because he was in the thick of it. Like, right in the thick of it. But yeah, let me come back to the chat here. I lost the chat again. Hold on. Too many windows. But when you start getting into, like, you start looking at it, and you start making these connections, it's just so... It's horrifying. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And, like, I'm gonna need probably time, like, to revisit the Chicken Hawk dive. That dark red... 50 Shades Redder brick road. But I think for research and whatever purpose, like, I'm going to have to break it down, and it's going to end up having to be in this Reiner video, because like those newsletters and stuff that these guys talk about, they talk about specific movies, and basically all the movies are the ones that it's like I kind of was already there. I was like getting there, and I just wasn't all the way there yet with the TW Theory. But I'm gonna update the TW Theory article and add in some of all of this stuff that just further solidifies that theory, because it is sort of an all-encompassing theory. It's involving other stuff to do with the trauma and distress and other stuff that happens in movies that's a trauma for a kid. But the newsletters were literally like boys in the media type newsletters, and there's these certain couple guys, and one of them that was like a contributor and part of a whole, like, they're all in it. They're not all in it, but all of these people, there's people all embedded within it, like sprinkled around and embedded within it all over the place. that were running. There was basically like, in the way that TMZ and outlets like that stay on top of the gossip of it all, they had a newsletter to stay on top of the best scenes in the movies of it all. And it was a little underground fan club that really loved his movies. Like, this is the missing link. This is the link. And I don't want to die, for the record. I don't do drugs. I stopped drinking a couple months ago. Like, I'm taking this so fucking seriously. I don't take medications. I'm natural, all natural. Like, I have no reason to just drop dead, so if I drop dead, they got to me, because fuck. We're getting right into the missing fucking links here. But this guy, they were a big fan of his movies, especially movies like this. And I'm going to start coding these TW Theory movies in the way that I'm coding the people, but it'll just be slightly different. It'll just be like the degrees of TW Theory, because some of them are very TW Theory, like this was heavy duty. Maybe even Stand By Me could be considered too, but I put it as orange because Bughall also reported that he was trespassed upon while filming that movie, so it sort of brings it to the nth degree. But like Skipped Parks was pretty heavy duty, TW Theory, Tart, all these movies. And then when you think of who they connect back to, like this connects back to the Brad Renfro, to the Brandis, all these kids, now we're starting to understand maybe why and what and how things like this are happening. Like, that it's not even like that, there's so much more to it even than it just being these isolated incidents, you know. There's so much more of a network, interconnected network happening within this sphere. Like, once I start mapping out this sphere, because some of them were really public about it back in the day, and then they started getting more hush-hush. But, like, Allen Ginsberg, which connects back to, like, the Timothy Leary, Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp. Like, there's other people that this is going to connect to, not just this Todd Bridges, or Todd Phillips guy. And so that's the missing link, and I'm probably going into very dangerous territory here, so just, you know, bear with me also, because I do have to try to say things very carefully, and we're going to probably have to get a little more coded about things, and I might have to start just, like, I don't know how much further even from this is safe to go. I might have to, like, leave it for a minute and come back to it again, you know, like, go finish the Brittany Murphy and the John Bonet and whatever and come back. But let me keep catching up with you guys here. Sorry. We're way too zoomed out here. Hold on. Yeah, she was probably tagged into some. Yeah, Ariana Grande, Just Candy. Sorry. Oh, I'm way behind in the chat here. I'm sorry, guys. Let me catch up. We're gonna take 5 and just fully catch up in the chat now, and then we'll come back to the other half of this presentation. Or if maybe we're going to just leave it at that and just chat and leave it at that and pick it up on the next one or something. I don't know. I think, like, going over it again, I'm getting the same, like, really bad gut, icky, churning, just not great feeling. And it's probably a good time to, like, just step away from it again. Because it's just fucked up. And so I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. The icky nay right now. It's not even, this is the group. Like, this is it. This group doesn't see religion or language. This has nothing to do with language or culture or race or socioeconomic status. These are the groups we need to be worried about, because I'm sure there's private groups too that have to do, like, this is the groups you needed that would have been very big fans, the girl version of John Bonet. And online, passing around photos of John Bonet and following her whole thing along. And then even more, a bigger fan base after she passed. And who knows what was really going on there. And with what there's so much more to that story. And I'm going to get there. We're going to finish that too. And that all kind of ties into this in a different way. That ties into what I believe is more of like this situation. That they were making a video. And people were watching live because a lot of people said they knew what happened and they were there that night, but they were proven to physically not have been there. How could all those people be there and knew that it was an accident and knew what happened, and they felt responsible, they felt guilty enough to bring it up to police? Why? Could there have been a video, a live feed, where they were taking requests and it got out of hand? Maybe. I don't know. That's a speculation. I have an awful lot of 10, 15 episodes. There's going to be another 5, 6 episodes of that, but 10 episodes already building up the evidence to kind of suggest that that was what was going on with the kind of company and connections and things that were going on in the background at the time. Because I don't just connect dots within a case. I look at the whole fucking sphere. And that's what a lot of things people were missing. A lot of people ignored and overlooked that Mark Carr guy, John Mark Carr, talking about his online identities and stuff, and they started silencing him. He was like, I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore. And all the evidence they had to put him away, it mysteriously disappeared. It was a whole thing. It's a whole fucking thing, because there's a lot of money, and the people that have a lot of money that also have these interests have a lot of interest in keeping it quiet and keeping the material coming and having certain particular criterias fulfilled for the type of material they like to see, the type of people in the material. Like, same as anybody else, like people that view adult material, everyone has a certain type of thing they would like to watch, right? It's all the same. It's all the same, but it's fucking kids, right? These are little kids that are in these videos. So you have to look at it from in as much as you can, because it's so fucking hard and it's so disgusting, but to see from their lens of what is harming your kids. Like, just taking your kid to a public pool, your kid is probably being there's somebody that's going to go home and think about what they saw and gratify themselves. So if you have kids, do not take them to public pools. Do not even take them to a beach anymore in this day and age, for how prevalent this is, and everyone having cameras and stuff. Like, you do not know if a guy a kilometer down the beach is zoomed right in, taking videos and pictures of your kid and then selling them online, like Bob Villard was doing to all these people's children that he was like a manager and publicist for, but then selling different poses and different stages of undress to like just by the, and they're not nude, they're not even nude, it's nothing even illegal about it technically, but these people were willing to pay money to see these different kids with their shirts off and in different poses like you would see in magazines for adults, you know, the softcore versions maybe, but then I'm sure he was providing other versions considering the circle he was in, that, okay, that's what he's putting on eBay. Well, what else was he doing, considering his connections to all these people? Oops. And, like, all of them being caught with material and being part of a bigger P3DO den organization that they really tried. They really tried to just come in and have, like, a whole dominating the internet sphere and having a whole elaborate trafficking operation. They almost did. It almost got away with it, you know what I mean? But that got shut down. Then we had the Diddy thing. Like, the Diddy and the Epstein things. Like, you got to think, this is not just the one P3DO den. They just had to be more careful about it. Instead of going public and having public, investors, like, being super public about it and having the front being so obvious. Like, they were just stupid about it. But that was a test run. That was like a test run, in a way, you know? Like, it was too obvious. So that didn't last long. But then what did all these people go do after that didn't get in trouble? Only this guy got in trouble, really, but he got off scot-free. This kid's now one of the biggest kids in crypto. Wonder where he got all the extra money to be a very huge early investor in crypto, and why he sits on the Bitcoin Foundation now, and why 10 Bitcoin Foundation people quit when he joined on due to his connections to crimes against children. And Bitcoin Foundation people would rather lose 10 people and have him than not have somebody connected to crimes against children on their foundation. So what does that say to you? I don't know. I don't know what that means. But this guy, when he was originally caught, he had like 8,000 separate files of videos and images. And where do you think it came from? Where do you think it was? Like, who do you think it was? Like, and maybe it started being from people in third world countries and stuff because they were in like Spain or whatever. But this whole den, it wasn't just so that people like Spacey could have a nice time with a kid at a party at this fucking guy's mansion. Have their little time, their little nice fucking time, these sick fucks. That was the front end, but then there was videos. There he is, he's over here. You don't think there wasn't videos of all of these
sick fucks. So then it's not only blackmail, it's material they can sell. And then all these guys, it's their little playground to play within with all these teenage kids. Like, and younger even in some cases, right? So, like, how do you like, you think that just because this one stopped existing, it just stopped happening? You think just because the Diddy thing stopped existing, it stopped happening, you know? And then why do all these people at the parties, why are the people going to the parties never held responsible? Like, oh, okay, this guy, it was his house, and this guy was named, like a few of them were named in lawsuits by these kids, but because it wasn't their property and they weren't really, they all had money and wicked lawyers, nothing came of it for these guys. So all these guys went off and found a different group. So if you start tracing what happened after, I don't know where that's going to take us just yet, but I feel like if we start tracing and following along later who they were connected to and what was going on in later years, because somehow you can be in this 30 years and nobody, like, nothing's happening, because apparently this guy who's in close to connecting to both this guy and this guy, and seems to be one of these guys for what he's being accused of, but he also doesn't seem to have a preference. He kind of, but maybe it's depending on the material. Maybe this is the material, or maybe what he's really into, and then he makes material with, I don't know, who knows? I don't know. Some of them, maybe they are into both. They like teenage girls and little boys. I don't know. You know, we can't say for sure until it's decided in the court of law with this one. This is just what there's allegations right now, but with who he connects all into and why they all connect so tight buddy guy. Why would they all be tight buddy guys? They're not all necessarily from the same religion or the same walks of life or the same side of the world geographically. There are completely different types of movies. Some of them are sci-fi and they fit all in together, but some of them are horror movies. What does a horror movie guy that does like gore, horror, like, and whatever, and mafia, Godfather, like, if you look up what he does, what does he have to do with a spaceman? He doesn't do sci-fi movies, so why would he have a company with a sci-fi movie guy? What is their allegiance? Because that doesn't make sense. Is it this? Is it this? And this guy made material for him? Because I don't know, maybe we could ask Jake Lloyd. Maybe Jake Lloyd knows something about that. Because apparently this guy handpicked him. He was like, yeah, well, maybe not. Like, he was the deciding factor when it was down to 2 or 3 boys. This guy decided. He picked him. But has he ever said anything or taken any responsibility for this guy now having all of these mental health issues? And whatever the fuck is going on over there that obviously was heavily suppressed in the video I tried to do about that and the Bug Hall video. They threw on the brakes on that one. But now the curtain's being ripped back. So, and now we've got Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilms. Randomly, abruptly. People have been begging her to. She's been destroying the franchise apparently the whole time, which it's not. It's just they're not catering to the same audience anymore. She doesn't know how to cater to little boys and people into little boys, basically. Because whether these people are actually into little boys or not, their biggest fans were people into little boys, and due to the type of content that they were providing, the type of material they were providing. So then they knew or not, whether Spielberg knows or not, that his biggest fans are people that really enjoy the end of E.T., where Henry Thomas is in his tidy whities. Also, Steven ended up stepping down from the Boy Scouts of America. He was part of that. He was on the board of the Boy Scouts of America for a really long time. And he stepped down randomly for who knows. I don't know. But these people, we got to look into this at some point too. There's something weird going on here. I'm not going to get into it right now because that's just too much. We're going to try to keep this around like 2.5 hours and not go too deep in any direction, because we're going to try to keep these bite-sized and not leave anyone feeling traumatized after a session here. I'm going to try to do this a little bit at a time. But his biggest fans, like their biggest fans, these guys were the biggest fans. So just like I was kind of already there. I was kind of already getting to it, I guess, with the TW theory and kind of what I was presenting that way, but this just confirms it. If anything, that further confirms, like, if these guys, and I don't know, I'll have to see if I can even find some of these old newsletters and what they were saying. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to. Like, it's gross. It's fucking gross, and it's makes me feel upset in my stomach, and then I can't eat and sleep for days, so I don't want to. But to find out some of the main people that were involved in the newsletters and stuff, I might have to do some digging, and it's going to suck. But they were big fans. They were big fans. They followed. Macaulay Culkin was one of their favorites. So I got to find out who was representing Macaulay Culkin, and I guess it was his father. So maybe his father's an even bigger, like, he was the manager. So I don't know if he had a publicist or another manager like Bob Villard or one of those guys. But he was a favorite that appeared in their newsletters, from what I'm understanding, just from reading, like, the summary of it. Like, I'm kind of starting to dig into the summary. I haven't found any of the newsletters yet. I haven't found any of that stuff yet. But I don't know if I want to look. I don't think I need to either. Like, I think just people, like, what I'm gathering so far to confirm that yes, in such a way, whether they knew it or not, whether they were intending to or not, these people were catering to this audience. And they were all very big fans, to the point that they had newsletters, forums, like a whole network that would follow these people's work very closely, and then share timestamps and talk about how much they loved certain scenes and certain situations and seeing certain things about these little boys in these movies that have them. Like this kid, too, the Neverending Story. I gotta add Neverending Story 2 on here. Is a pretty serious TW theory movie also. But these, like, this is what we can say for sure. That whether or not, because I can't say for sure that Amblin is a play on the word Nambla in any way. I can't confirm that. That would be unethical reporting. For me to think that Amblin is basically saying a man boy lover in such and such a movie would be irresponsible and unethical. But for what NAMBLA stands for, and the fact that this was their biggest fans, we can confirm their biggest fans were these people. So the TW theory confirmed. It's not even a theory anymore. It's a TW syndrome. Or something. Whatever the next level of theory is, confirmed, because these were the biggest fans, and if you dig hard enough, you will find more of the stuff. And like Crispin Glover, I was reading a Crispin Glover article that he had released that was really hard to find, that was pretty near scrubbed, but I found it, that he was saying some stuff about catering to this audience, certain people catering to this audience. There was another one, and I don't know if you guys even want to have to, because it is really fucked up stuff. It will damage you. This will cause a trauma. But an article written by Feral House, by Adam, you can look it up if you want. But warning, the biggest warning. You should be able to find it, though, if you search up Feral House, Adam Pomfrey, and this guy's name, Stephen Iceberg. And if you want to read that article, that gives you a little more. That's basically like TW theory, but to the extreme. It's kind of extreme. It's a little more strong language, and there are illustrations to do with like a cartoon version of making a joke about the Hook movie being a very TW theory, that it's basically him, that was him revealing to the world in a way that he is also a fan of his own, like that he's also one of these guys over here. But we can't say that for sure. We cannot accuse anybody without it being decided in the court of law. But if these guys were really, really big fans of this guy, maybe we're starting to understand what happened here. Because maybe this guy knew what he was catering to. Maybe he didn't. Maybe this guy didn't. Maybe these guys don't know who they're catering to, sideways in a way. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're not doing that on purpose. Maybe they're not. But what we connect here, and now with the Reiner thing, maybe he knew he was catering to such an audience, because in the TW theory that I released early November, so before the Reiner thing even happened, the TW theory, one of the most disturbing examples is this movie. And it happens that is one of these. This is also like a lot of kids' favorite movies. Like a lot of kids grew up loving this movie, and it's nostalgia for them, and they're really sad about Reiner right now because, oh no, my favorite movie. Like I want to go and find, that's something me and my friends would do. If we heard there was a body in the woods, we'd go look for it, like that, the wholesome parts of it, and what enticed children to begin with, all that wholesome, warm feelings, was also, on the flip side, not only was it enticing a certain audience, but then catering, very much catering, because it is the most disturbing example to this. And whether he, again, was purposeful or not, who knows? Because it was Stephen King's idea. It was Stephen King's most favorite childhood memory, getting undressed next to the river with all his friends, like skinny dipping with his friends. That's his favorite memory. Like, you like to think back to all you and your friends naked? That's weird. It's pretty weird. I don't know if anybody thinks back to, like, unless they're into kids, right? Like, oh, I loved when I played football, pee-wee football, and I loved being in the locker room with all my friends and seeing everyone. Like, I loved hanging out in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like, no, because you want to think back to that, and you like that. Like, you're into that. You're sick. You're sick. If that is your favorite memory, that's not what normal people have a favorite memory. They think, oh, football, that was fun. I liked hanging out and then getting ice cream after and blah, 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 blah. Not, my favorite part was when we showered together. No. Stephen King's favorite, and Rob Reiner loved this. He's like, yeah, it reminds me of my childhood. We love that. That's our favorite scene. And if you guys watched a few live streams back, like 5, maybe like 10 or 12 now, but we watched the behind the scenes Stand By Me footage together on a live stream, and the way Stephen King and Rob Reiner talked so fondly about the scene that was the TW Theory example from this movie, the most disturbing example of what I had provided, how fondly they were talking about that scene. And he's basically saying, yeah, my favorite childhood memory was being in the woods with my friends, and when we all got leeches on us, and I finally got the chance to see all my friends pretty much naked or whatever, or when we get in there with their bathing suits or whatever, like that was their favorite memory. Because you got to see them in their underwear, and it wasn't just bathing suits, and it was, like, provocative, I guess. It was more provocative, I'm guessing, because I'm sure he'd seen his friends also maybe at some point in bathing suits. So I'm guessing that would be the difference. It's the TW theory part of it. Because that's also, and that's sort of the imagery I started on. It's something specific about the tidy whities that these guys like. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it also represents such innocence and the childhood of it all. But E.T., the end of E.T., very TW theory. And actually, I got to fit Henry Thomas, and I got to fit more yellow and red and orange dots. And it's getting for real now. We're getting serious now, guys. But yeah, that's how that theory started. I did that early November, mid-December. This happens. And not saying I had anything to do with it, or that I set anything off, or that I, whatever, I do believe that every drop in the ocean of influence counts. And I think that a drop of that counted towards the Kathleen Kennedy thing, and maybe, getting out the Victor Salva stuff, because when we were talking about that the other night, I noticed 4 or 5 people make videos about it, and start talking about the Victor Salva, George Lucas, Coppola tie-ins. So suddenly everybody's talking about this, and this is how quickly and easily we can bring down the House of Cards, though. That's exciting. That's good news. Because we talk about this, a few people just start talking and pointing this out and making this connection, and the current person sitting at the head of this company, who people had begged her to for so long, everyone wanted her to quit for so long because she wasn't making the content they liked, which was basically either enticing them as a child, or they're into it because they're an adult that's sick. She wasn't doing that anymore, so she'd been begged to step down for years, for 10 fucking years, and she didn't. Why now, abruptly, did this woman step down, now that this guy, this happened, and now that people are making these connections, and how much that all connects very tightly together in such a way? And whether it's my map or people talking about it, who cares? Every drop in the ocean of influence counts. I don't need credit for it. We all need to do this collectively. It's a collective arrangement. Same sentiment as kind of what, with what Desi was saying the other night. It's not, when it comes to this thing, it's not about intellectual property. It's about getting the information out and getting it out in different mediums and formats that everyone can understand, because not everybody learns the same way. Some people are visual learners this way, or they'd rather see it in a video, or they'd rather see it explained with like how I do documentaries, or they'd rather a mind map. For me, I'm feeling the mind map is saying a lot without having to say much, though. You know, it says a lot without saying much, and I think that's important. But some people want to listen or read, or like there's different ways people learn. So having different people doing the same things in different ways and different formats is super important. And it's not about who did it first or when or how. I mean, yes, I have been talking about all of this for several fucking years. Like all of the, like between the Charlie, if you watch the Charlie Sheen video and the Drew Barrymore video, most of what is on this map is in those videos. A lot of these red dots, because they worked so closely together, it's like 2 degrees of separation in Hollywood. It was very easy for me to do a biography under the guise of a biography, but also talking about all of these lost souls along the way and how they fit in. And between Drew and Charlie Sheen, there is a lot. But the Johnny Depp and the Red Hot Chili Peppers is a little more focusing on this and what was going on around that. But the whole time is, I've been kind of trying to say, like, hello guys, look what's going on over here. But it doesn't matter. We're all here now, finally. And now we can do it in this way, more openly, because I had to do it covertly for so long because I didn't want to get ICAPI'd. Right? Like, that's a real thing, you know? Randy Quaid talks about it, and some people talk about it, and people think they're crazy, but if people aren't doing things the way that other people want to, they have a lot of money and they'd like things to go differently, sometimes it's easy to pay somebody that doesn't have a lot of money a bit of money for you and a lot of money for them. Like $5,000 to any person is a lot of money, but to any of these people, that's like a penny, a half a penny. Here's a hay penny. Go rough this guy up because we don't like what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like, that's simple, if they wanted to. We know mafias exist. We know all that exists. We know that Diddy and Jay-Z, or maybe just Diddy, we don't know for sure Jay-Z, but Diddy had private investigators going around and approaching creators and trying to get them to change their story, or at least reveal who was paying them to spin their story, but they're like, no, I'm an independent journalist, I'm just telling the fucking story. I'm just doing truthful journalism. You can't just come flip the side and offer me more money than the other side does anymore. That's not how the world works anymore, buddy guy. Sorry. But even just with that, like, there's gentle pushing, there's big pushing. If you watch Eyes Wide Shut, sometimes they give you a little bit of a warning, and then you have a big warning, and then it's just one more warning before it's you. If you watch Eyes Wide Shut and The Shining, it's almost more like documentaries now than a movie, and now maybe we're better understanding what happened with Kubrick 4 days after he decided he refused to cut certain scenes from Eyes Wide Shut. 4 days later, or a week later, he mysteriously died and was in otherwise good health. A lot going on there. Very interesting. Very compelling. I don't know. I can't say anything for sure. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm totally crazy and nobody actually knows what's going on here. So crazy. Like Patrick Swayze. Better stay away. But also Donnie Darko. That's another good one. Which from the get-go, guys, did I not say, and even you guys, some of you guys were like, yep, definitely, that this feels a lot like the Menendez brothers and the Donnie Darko of it all. With this, well, looks like we're finding out some stuff that might have come into play here, and why Alan Jackson speaking so passionately and so assertively that Nick Ryder is not a murderer. Maybe Nick Ryder is something else. At least he needs help and not to be punished, regardless of what it is. You know? But anyways, I think that's enough of going into these different rabbit holes right now, and we'll start wrapping this up here and chit chat, and I'll catch up with the chat again here, and then we'll close her out. This was a lot in one session. Javier Delgado, I don't know about him. I'm gonna put a pin in that. But yeah, I've added more stuff around too. We'll just have to come back a different day, and I have added more other parts of the sphere, but I wanted to kind of keep it as linear as possible for this, and just like get this important. This was like a very important puzzle piece, or many puzzle pieces together to fit at once. That is part of the current of what's currently going on, the Buzzfield and the Reiner and the Victoria Jones, all this stuff going on. Like, maybe we're starting to understand why people are like, they have to be dependent on some substance to, like, whether it's prescribed or not, to be able to exist in this system, almost. Because if this is all going on around and people are just dropping like flies around you, all your peers and friends, and like, no wonder everyone was on drugs. You got all these people hovering around, no wonder everybody's on drugs. So maybe we could just heal as a society and start figuring out the origins of these infections and where they're coming from and why. And I don't know what that means from there. I'm not trying to condone violence or harm to anyone, oneself or others. But I think that knowledge is power. And I think just knowing more of what to look for, we can all be better protective of the kids in our own lives, you know, in your kids and kids in your community, just by knowing, you know. Maybe you'll think twice by letting the kid run around with a shirt off at the park. You know, maybe do that in your backyard. But if there's some creepy dude sitting on the bench reading a book, maybe just don't. Maybe just wait. Give him some water to cool down. Because I know it seems so harmless, but it's not, you know, it's the people that make it weird that you got to worry about. That it's not weird, and for most people it's nothing, but for the people that make it weird, it's weird. Okay, I'm putting a pin in this Javier guy. Just at first glance, this is, oh, Mexico, El Mexico. Yeah, we're getting into another side, but he was he was in Modern Family. Modern Family. Oh, he's the, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, I know who this is. Yeah, he does fit into here in a pretty big way, too. Not necessarily as a bad guy, I don't know yet. I'd have to look, but yeah, I know where he goes. I can think of where he's gonna go, probably somewhere in here, because Modern Family is sort of half and half, because it's like a family-friendly show. So it's gonna go somewhere, I don't know, somewhere over here. I don't know yet, but yeah, he does, I already know where he's... There's other connections I already have in my mind that I'm already thinking of where they need to go that he connects to. Because Sarah Hyland over here, the Matt Prokop, that recent situation right now, pretty sure she's on that show. Pretty sure she's on Modern Family. I believe she's the older sister, that's the other show she's on. But this guy that happened to be distributing and producing material happened to be pretty close connections, like only 1 or 2 connections away from some of this other stuff going on, and the most recent stuff too, you know. I don't know, but I hope that anyone out there right now, any former child stars, like, please just be safe. Like, because I don't know what happened with this, but fuck, something's going down. Like, something crazy is going down. The House of Cards is collapsing, and things are getting weird all over the fucking place. Victoria Jones, like, that situation's so messed up. Like, a lot of stuff, this is causing a ripple effect in a way, for a reason. And we don't know what it is yet, but I think as we connect more dots, we're getting closer to the answer of what's going on, you know? Yeah, the Pizza Underground. Yeah, I did a video about Macaulay a while back, and I was doing some videos, and I was going, like, a little more for the jugular at the time, and then that wasn't a good idea. So maybe I'll bring that back, because I did, like, a Rise, Demise, and Redemption, in a way, video, but then I was analyzing some of the projects he was doing, that he was trying to tell us things the whole time. But then he does have strange connections with Seth Green, so I don't know, I'll have to see a little more on that, because I can't really say for sure about what he did in between, because then he was in, like, Party Monster. That was his first movie back. I don't know, there's some more stuff going on there, but he did make it out the other side in one piece, so there's at least that, so it is possible. But yeah, the Macaulay, and that's why I hadn't put it on there. Some people are like, oh, but what about this guy, or what about that guy? Well, some people are like, it's complicated. Like, okay, yeah, I could stick it on there, but, like, there's so much more going on, because, like, this, by the way, connects to this guy, Home Alone 2. There's like 10 or 12 movies. He was like very, very particular, like made sure he was appearing in as many movies as possible for like a 10-year span in little cameos on purpose. That was part of the plan of preparing to go into politics or whatever the fuck he was going to do next, whatever business, social frontage he was looking to do. It was very calculated by what it's starting to look like. But it also connects with a heavy-duty TW Theory movie. Guess which one? Oh, interesting. Oh, funny how that happens. So how many different connections to this kind of stuff does one need to have before it's suspicious? How many friends like this and weird dot connections like this does one need to have before it's starting to be considered suspicious and not just coincidence? How many? Is it like 2, 3, 5? Because I think at this point we're at like 5 connections that would suggest that he enjoys the company of people that probably enjoy the company of the same kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Probably, maybe. Like, is it 5? How many P3DO friends do you need to have before it's suspicious and not coincidence? Because I think maybe one time. There's like a one time, and it's like, oh shit, you didn't know? Fuck, that's messed up. Woo, do you know now? Stay away from that fucking guy. But then if you have more popping up, more than one popping up, that you have to have known about, you knew this guy, 2003, and then somehow he was like a huge advisor and helped you with this campaign, with the funding, and had this guy as the go-between, that you later pardoned. Oh, interesting. So you knew this guy was doing wrong things, and you stayed friends. But you want people to believe that, oh, I publicly distanced from the Epstein. Yeah, we weren't friends. Oh, okay. We weren't friends anymore. Okay. Well, what about this guy? What about your spiritual advisor that just got arrested? Like yesterday or the other day. Oh, that's weird. How many of these friends do you need to have before it starts to be a little suspicious and more people start to believe that maybe there were big connections between this guy and this guy? Maybe. Oh, weird. Maybe this actually happened. Maybe we should start listening to these people more for when they're talking about it, like 30 years ago and then 10 years ago, and every decade you get people trying to say things like they did with this guy. Like, how is this guy still working in the industry after going to jail for this over here? Why are you still working with children? Or in the industry at all? Like, how are you even allowed to be on any set that may be adjacent to other sets that may have children? Because it's not even just, you got to think of what a studio. Like, a studio is sets, and different production companies rent out those sets. Like, if you look at this company over here, this It's a Laugh, that produced like 12, 13, 15 of the fucking Disney shows that everyone grew up watching. My generation anyway, or like, well, my sister's generation more so, or a little bit younger. I didn't. I was already watching adult stuff pretty much by that time. I was beyond, I guess, at that point. But for a lot of people in my generation, this was what they grew up watching. That's why a lot of, we've got the Miley Cyrus, this generation, right? This production company was not the only people filming stuff at this studio. Yeah, there was a ton of kids, and they were doing a ton of this, but there were other shows being filmed at this studio. So if adults from other sets of other shows at this studio wanted to take a lunch break and go watch some kids over here or over here, they could do that. No problem. Right? You have this guy. Then you have the people embedded themselves into those shows, and then people becoming a problem. This guy is a problem. He didn't get help. He just went right into it, where Drake Bell started doing drugs and realizing he had a fucking problem and went and got help and broke the cycle and started speaking openly about what happened to him and what was so fucked up in his childhood that led to whatever the fuck he was doing then and huffing balloons outside of a high school. Yeah, that was fucked up. That was really fucked up. But he owned it, and he stood for it, like stood on it, and went and got fucking help. Not just for the drugs, but for what caused the trauma and what was leading him down a path to become one of these guys. So what's the difference? What makes you want to be part of it? Right? Like, we don't know. We don't know that part yet. We're not going to know that. I don't know. What makes somebody want to become the evil that trespassed and harmed them? I don't understand. Empaths wouldn't understand that. People that become the opposite don't understand that. But we need to start understanding, because somehow they're continuing the pipeline flowing, and then somehow this guy connects to some interesting stuff. He connects to this guy, this Jeff Hornaday guy, who did this movie, which happened to be the most watched cable television show movie of all time. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Teen beach movie. Literally couldn't even think of a fucking title, a real title, to be less obvious. Nope, it's just a teen beach movie. Come see a bunch of teens on the beach with a little bit of a storyline. Like, what? Like, you're telling me all of the children, every kid on this side of the fucking stratosphere watched this movie and that's why it was the most watched movie? Or were a lot of fucking adults watching this movie? Okay? And who else was in this movie? This young lady called Maya Mitchell. Okay? So now we're 1 degree of separation away from, remember we just talked about that show? Oh, weird. You connect back to this guy. You were like 3 separators away from this guy. Because I gotta connect that back up. He connects to the Fosters too. I don't know why it's not connecting. Because I changed the nodes, so this has to connect across, so that's okay. I'm still reorganizing and readjusting to make more room here because there's so much more shit to fit in. But yeah, he did some of the Fosters episodes, and then we talked about how Jesus, the one character, the original Jesus, quit and left. And what charges is he facing right now? And then he's saying that, the twin boys right now, I didn't do anything. They are just jealous and upset because they didn't get kept on for the next season. Did you decide that they didn't get kept on for the next season, or did they quit? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus from the Fosters quit. Why is that not linking? There you go. Pretty sure he quit, and he said he was going on to bigger things, which he didn't. That Jake T. Austin guy, which he didn't. There wasn't really much else going on after. He's done things now, and whatever, good for him or whatever he's going to do, but he had quit for whatever reason. Okay? And then that Jake T. Austin guy also happens to connect back to the Bug Hall thing, which is, it's like, wow, like the 2 degrees of separation is so crazy. But the Jake T. Austin guy, he was on that Wizards of Waverly Place. And then Bug Hall and Selena Gomez and David Henry from this show did that This Is the Year. And that was what was going on here between this and whatever was going on behind the scenes. Bug Hall decided to quit Hollywood for good, and he spoke very openly about what happened here and all around. And he even spoke about with the things with Brad Renfro, like that he had looked up to him, and there was a whole thing like how much that hurt him when Brad went. Like all these people were affected. They're not just drones. Like when their friends and their colleagues and stuff die, they are affected, and then no wonder they're going out and getting into trouble and doing drugs because they have to always pretend everything's fine, do their little press tours and do their little this and everything's fine. But if your friggin' friend just died, like you need to have time to deal with that. But when you've got press tours and you've got deadlines and you've got 20 people on a set relying on that movie for a job, you don't get to stop and be sad. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to take time to fucking mourn that shit. And when you think about how many of these people around that, like, no wonder Drew Barrymore was having such a struggle in her early teens. No wonder, all these kids around Bug Hall, like, and Corey Feldman, all these people that had struggles over time with self-medicating, because how else are they going to manage that? They have no time to feel the pain. So then they're just putting a Band-Aid over it, putting a Band-Aid over it, putting a Band-Aid over it, until the pain is way too much. And you're this guy, because sometimes it's an accident, sometimes it's very intentionally, from what was reported, which we don't even know anymore. Who even knows? Because sometimes the official reports are not the truth either. We don't know. But some of them very intentionally make the choice. And when you see these connections and the TW theory, there's more yellow movies to connect to him. And where it all connects back to, it really, really, really makes you wonder if they did know what's going on, that this is the biggest fan base that they're catering to. Maybe they do know, and maybe more of them are more involved in it than we know. Maybe Nick knows. I bet Nick knows. Maybe Jake Lloyd knows. Maybe Jake Lloyd needs to come out of his medicated, facilitated stupor, and maybe they can just let him say what he has to say, because they kept saying he was crazy. Everything he was saying was crazy. If you watch the video I did about him, you'll understand why his video and Bug Hall's video were heavily suppressed then. But now with the Nick Reiner situation, it's ripped the curtain back. He's right now, he's the Toto of it all. He's the little dog at the end of Wizard of Oz that pulled back the curtain. And now we can talk about it. You cannot stop us from talking about it, because this is the biggest news of all time to do with Hollywood, with this situation for who he was and with this thing going on. Like, you cannot stop us. And then we're looking at your friends. We're looking at your groups, because we're going to be questioning why at 7 did he look shell-shocked? Why in preteens was he heavily dependent on heavy narcotics? The same way, in the same situation as River Phoenix, who, Stand By Me, Castle Rock, Rob Reiner, right? Why all the very same pattern, but then this guy accident gone? Same pattern, except for instead of imploding and doing himself in, he decided to take someone else out and sacrifice his freedom for the rest of his life and possibly face the death penalty if he did in fact do this deed. Why? Why? Does it have anything to do with the trail of lost children? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's just some crazy map on some crazy side of the internet that you stumbled upon. I don't know. What do I know? Do your own research. Draw your own conclusion. Because I don't fucking know. I'm speculating. I'm putting some dots together on a fucking map. And I don't know. I don't know. Well, he stayed silent. He left. And he didn't mention... Like, we talked about this in the stream the other day. So probably just go back. I think it was yesterday, actually. We talked about it. He stayed quiet. He left. John Candy died. He fled the scene. He left. He quit. He was like, yeah, I don't care. I will never work again then. Bye. Bye. But then his publicists and whoever encouraged him to write an autobiography because his money was running out or whatever the fuck was happening there. And he literally just shot it out. It was like he took their memo and was like, this is what I should write about. Okay, I'm going to list the things I like, list the things I don't like. Like, it was kind of just funny. It was funny. He was like humoring them. But some of it was really revealing. He did an open letter to his father. And he talked about some of the stuff. Like, it was meant to be about his time as a child star. And he talked about some of that. So that was compelling. But he also went out of his way to make sure to mention like 25 famous Johns in the industry. Like John Candy and John Denver and other Johns in the industry, but for whatever reason did not mention this John at all. Didn't even mention him one time. Did not use his name one time. Did not even refer to him. Not even like sideways in the way that Jeanette McCurdy talked about Dan Schneider in her book. Did not talk about him. He stayed quiet the whole time and then just decided to leave. So we don't know, though, because that's rumors about what happened here and here. Like, there's some rumors and whispers and hearsay of little nuggets of information people have talked about over the years. But once I start putting all these dots together, I think it'll become a little more clear that there's a reason why he never mentioned him, even in a positive way, up until he made one comment about him in the John Candy documentary recently. But he kind of sidestepped it and was like, no, we're not going there. But I think he's made peace with it because he is having his little comeback right now and doing whatever he's doing. But sometimes the reward is just the reward of silence. It's not that you did anything. It's the reward of silence. And maybe that's what he needed to do, is he needed to just step away from good and not keep trying to say things through his Pizza Underground band and trying to say things through Party Monster and trying to say things through, you know... Where he did do a couple movies with Seth Green, though. So there is, like, maybe he's a wild card. He might be a wild card. I don't know. This color is subject to change. I don't know. But he made it out in one piece. And I had felt some of his projects over time were him trying to say something. And the way that this all connected and what was going on here, I don't know. You can go watch the other thing where I go into it deeper. The last stream about it, talking about it, and... you can look into it yourself, too, and do your own research and draw your own conclusions. Like, everywhere they go, too. And, like, people are trying to argue to be like, no, it wasn't Charlie Sheen. It was Brashka. It was a Brashka guy. Like, have you considered that it's not just one time? That it's not just a one-time deal for these kids? And that there could be multiple? Because it was also Alfie's Soda Pop Club. Alfie Hoffman. And it was also, like, we could name several people that had trespassed or had tried to be trespassing on Corey at the time. Marty Weiss was floating around at the time, who found his way, weaseled his way into this fucking, where is he? Weaseled his way into this side of things way long after, even after being accused. There's red dots, and I'm sure he's still working. He wrote a book
about it, like celebrating that, oh yeah, it's good, everyone knows now, thanks for the infamy. Like, so many people have no fucking shame. No shame. No shame. But these were the kind of people floating around all of these kids and going to these events and making deals and we're being the go-between, being the agent, being the photographer, being the whatever. They were all over. There's no just one guy in most cases. In some cases it's one guy. But look how many of them were surrounded around Mila. And then how many people in the studio and just around had to just stay quiet watching all these people objectifying her, adult men objectifying a teenager on their set, and nobody said a fucking thing. You know? So it's not just one guy. It's not just one guy. Can you see, do you think a kid went to the party, one of these parties, and it was just one guy? Did you guys watch the last video where this guy, when he was a kid, he was talking about how those parties work? So if you think maybe if Justin Bieber, like why he's not naming names or why he's not saying anything, because do you think he even fucking knows? Did you not watch them? Him like starting to stumble around and sitting on that one video and he's like stumbling around and going to sit down and somebody walks over and hands him a bottle and he just starts drinking out of the bottle because he's so fucking out of it. And they're like, yeah, get you nice and wiped out there, bud, because we're about to pass you around, is the vibe I was getting. That doesn't mean that's exactly what happened. But why do you think they don't say anything? Because if it's at a party and they wake up in a room somewhere and they have no idea, they know roughly who all was there and who may have participated or not, they don't know. But if this many people, this many blue dots are at one party with one Justin Bieber, you know? And that's Bug Hole. He's like, I actually really don't know for sure. Like, I know that bad things were happening to me, starting on this set and going from set to set. Different people, sometimes, like, whatever. Like, he's trying to, but he couldn't definitively say any one person and have the proof to do anything about it, right? Of Sean William Scott's career after starting in the center of the P3DO den, and one of his first shows being one of their shows, that Chad's World, and how that progressed, and then he linked up with Ashton Kutcher for Dude, Where's My Car? There's a lot of weird stuff going on. There's some weird people involved in that. So this might have to move around a bit, I don't know, but for right now, it's on the board. Yeah, same with the Dance Moms. Yep, that was a whole other realm of, you know, I guess you get into that a little more with the John Bonet, the pageant world. And then that's where you kind of come over to here, though. This is all on here. Like the, all these little pageant circuits. This is on this side. Because it fits into this network of situations. It's all in here. This guy owned most of them. Most of the big ones. Sole ownership. He had them since, he was part of it since 1996. But sole ownership from 2003 to 2015. And he would walk into dressing rooms and say he was checking out the merchandise. And he did it because he could. Because he owned the thing. And whether they were undressed or not. So that on its own is a little bit of a trespass. And then why are you calling them merchandise? Because you're not selling them at the pageant. They're not being sold at the pageant. So why are you calling it merchandise unless they're being sold under the guise of a pageant? You know? Doesn't make you immune. Yeah, good point, Subo Kaj. Doesn't make you immune, but it definitely can help prevent being a part of it, or, you know, being more aware of, like, extracurriculars you try to put your kids in, or, you know, like, there's so much more going on there, that knowing about this stuff will help prevent. Like, we need to be more proactive as a society instead of reactive. You know, like, let's not wait till the Boy Scout guy gets caught to oust him from Boy Scouts. Let's just, you know, like, I don't know. That's a bad example, maybe. But, you know what I mean? Like, know the signs before, like, know the signs of the grooming before it gets to the point. Because a lot of these people think that because they're going through the grooming process, like, that's basically the long and short of the NAMBLA thing, that they think because they're doing it in a grooming way and in a loving way, that it makes it okay. But no, just because you're not forcing it and it's not violent, still doesn't make it okay. Like, that's, no. It's not how that works. But yeah, the toddlers, tiaras, it's a whole pipeline. She's not a train wreck. She is going through the reprocessing of her surfacing trauma. Let's stop being fucking rude to people that sacrifice their own childhood to entertain you during yours and likely faced a lot of different trauma and harms and trespasses. So when they're going through a problem in their early adulthood, late 20s, early 30s, and they're starting to really struggle, whether it be with their weight or whatever, overeating, undereating, drinking, whatever the fuck they're doing, how about we be a little more kind, too? So we can keep them as orange dots and not have them become Aaron Carters. Because that's what happened to Aaron Carter. He was having a little breakdown. Things were really starting to make sense to him. He was trying to speak out about stuff going on in the industry. And people made fun of him. And harassed him. And stalked him. And bullied him. Made fun of him. Mocked him. Shamed him. So I don't give a fuck if you think she looks like a train wreck. It's a really train wreck fucking thing to say about somebody that's clearly dealing with some really complex and severe fucking trauma. So you want to look at it that way. I don't like find your way out of here, because I'm not going to tolerate people disrespecting those who suffered the most in their childhood to entertain you during yours. That's where I'm going to stand on that. I'm not going to tolerate people talking bad about the way people look or are behaving at this current point in time, when Bieber is going alive and having a rough go, when Ariana's having a panic attack and trying to hold it together during all the press tour of this fucking Wicked bullshit that's probably having a lot of different meanings to her too at the same time, and then trying to go to therapy, trying to do all this stuff, and so her friends trying to soothe her and console her, and then everybody wants to make fucking jokes about that too. Y'all make me sick, man. That makes me sick. You call her a train wreck? Come on. After this whole presentation, you gotta sit here and call her a train wreck? That's disgusting. I'm disgusted by that. Let's use a little more kindness. Let's be a little more kind to the people that are still orange dots. Let's keep them orange dots, lest they become red dots. Maybe we could start there, because I'm tired of having to add red dots to this fucking thing. If I gotta keep adding more red dots, we're gonna have a problem. And I'm sorry to everyone else. I'm not trying to get too heated here, but the language. Let's be a little more kind to people going through it, because anyone struggling like that obviously is struggling from fucking trauma. Pretty much all mental unwellness, unless by a physical trauma or a birth defect, is complex trauma from childhood. So they're struggling with drugs, they're struggling with whatever the fuck. So you're gonna sit here and talk about they're a train wreck? Wow, come on. I thought you guys were a better group than that. You're a new person. I've never seen you before, so that doesn't really count. The group that's usually here, the regulars, are all good. So I'm not talking to the regulars right now. But that's disgusting. From everything I just said, for that whole 2-3 hours, I don't know when you got in here, but oh Lord. She looks like she's struggling from complex trauma, is more like it. She looks like she's having a really rough go. Oh my god. Humans being. Anyways, that's probably good. We ended up going 2 hours over the amount of time I meant to do this, and I got shit to do. So I think we'll leave it at that. Appreciate you guys and all the regulars here sticking through this and all the chaos that's happening now with all these new people coming in. And welcome new people that are here for the right reasons and that are being respectful and kind and being part of this group project in a positive way. This group project, group discussion in a positive way. I don't want to get heated, but I'm going to not be tolerating. I'm going to be very, very intolerant to any bullying or mocking or speaking poorly over people that are obviously having a rough go. You know? Yeah, that's how they do it. And then the parents think, oh, you're so helpful. That's how Marty Weiss did it. If you guys haven't watched An Open Secret, I would recommend that. Showbiz Kids. Kid 90 is another good one with Soleil Moon Frye. And she, there was a lot of kids that didn't make it that she was spending time with as a kid. And so that, yeah, that's a whole story there. And the Jonathan Brandis she talks about. Yeah, let's just try to have more compassion and try to just be more understanding. That's all. thank you guys. Thank you again for everybody sticking with this and knowing what's going on and being respectful and responsible about it. So yeah, with that said, make sure to like, hype, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Red bricks crumble under my feet, a path that whispers a cursed heartbeat. Shadows stretch long, they know my name. Every step forward, it's all the same. The trees lean in, they're alive tonight. The moon's too scared to give me light. Follow the red brick road, they said. Where it leads, where it ends, no one's fled. It pulls, it drags, it swallows whole. The red brick road's got a price for your soul. Laughter echoes, but no one's near. A ghostly choir feeds on fear. Bricks are slick, they bleed, they gleam. Am I awake or trapped in a dream? The wolves don't howl, they just stare. Their eyes burn bright, they don't care. Follow the red brick road, they said. Where it leads, where it ends, no one's fled. It pulls, it drags, it swallows whole. The red brick road's got a price for your soul.